On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, well, we've got a big heap and helping of Ordeal Call 3 to get you through. So we will discuss the still ongoing Celeb Summer event, and then Ordeal Call 3 pregame, because it's only a week away, plus some other stuff. Hello, I am one of your hosts, Omega. With me, as always, is Lucky, and we will be your tour guides tonight.
Yes, I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, AI? And while we here at Studio Manga like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EM versions of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should settle in for a long haul.
Yep. I have to pause for a second to see if there will be a right down the road. But
I thought it.
I know you thought it. I thought it. We're all thinking it. Sorry, that made me think of another thing. I'm thinking of the opening to Aladdin. You fool! We've all got swords!
Audience, anyway. We are 90% memes. Please forgive us.
Yeah. Past the meme cell. Anyway, usually this is the part of the show where I do say that Lucky is not kidding about the spoiler warning, because we will be talking about a main story chapter later, and while I usually give, some illusion of mystery to doing the pregame, there will be some things that will be unavoidable, so of course you may feel free to employ the time codes to eject us whenever you feel like moving out. Or, if you are not one of those people who wants to go into everything blind, you can listen in and then just assume that you'll forget what I said between now and next week. Simply delete your thought programs, chat. Speaking of chat, by the way, this episode is brought to you by all of our wonderful, beautiful listeners, but especially to our patrons, some of whom are listening live right now. You can do that yourself every week. But I will be back to talk about patrons at the end of the show. For now, we move on to check out his favorite Kohai, Mesh.
Senpai, 起きてください.
Because it is time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai Rick for Protips. And I think so far we can still say favorite Kohai in this context, because the other Kohai, at the very least, a little asleep at the wheel. She promised us easy in and out 5 minutes summer vacation, and, see where that's going.
It was a great summer vacation, up until it was not.
It was, yeah, it was great. It's just, it's not going to be 5 minutes. Let's go to the future, it'll be fine, we'll come right back. Whoa. But your actual pro tip is about Ordeal Call 3. I would like to remind everybody that this is a time-limited story event. To get to Ordeal Call 3, you must complete the Summer Celeb Experience event, which ends the 1st of September. And then, once you have done that, you only have until 9:30 to clear Ordeal Call 3, the 30th of September. So you got a lot of days. It will overlap with some limited time events, but depending on your placement, you gotta get out there. You do also, to access Ordeal Call 3, you have to have cleared the Ordeal Call Prologue. You don't actually have to do Ordeal Call 1 and 2 to get there, which is a little funny, but yes, you do gotta worry about that, and it will be added to main into later, obviously, but for now, it is technically a get out there. Also saying, listen to some of the pregame like a day before, and that's perfectly fine. There's also, hopefully, there'll be some time codes. If I can, I'll maybe try and get it section by section. I'm pretty sure I say each section name out loud, which is what is read on the transcript of the video. Also, Patreon Chat's bringing up a great note, which is that once Ordeal Call 3 is opened, you will be warned of how long you have to complete it. So it will be like a normal limited time event where you'll see how many days, blah, blah, blah. Won't that be fun? But that is your pro tip. Next, we move on to Records of the Throne, a regular achievement topic. It's all lucky this week. Oops, all luckies.
Oops, all luckies. It's nothing actually that major. I just want to report that I did protect Nikovich's smile. Now that we have basically reached the end of summer vacation, I had to fight real hard not to say the line. All the nodes are up, so I've been able to get in there and grinding. So I was able to get all the EXPs out of the shop, which was enough to finish leveling Nikovich and start working on Zhufu. Not actually sure if I'm gonna put in we're in a very interesting time with the story chapter going so long and just, with some events in there.
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering, if I'm gonna have, some time to, get in there and do some basic-ass grinding with maybe some Ember Farms or some free quests or whatnot.
Not to mention that the story drop is still staggered. Somebody left a comment, I think it was last week, talking about the time gates, and I'm not really sure what they meant by it, because they were discussing the parts were due to the JP release. I last week I clipped from the English Chaldea Broadcasting the schedule, which indicates there is 1 week gap between part 1, part 2, part 3. So we still have time locks. So that will mean that depending on how fast we get through story, there will be downtime, basically, before we even, finish it all. So that'll be interesting to see, yeah.
Well, that probably means that our recap is going to at least take 3 weeks. But at the same time, also, no excuses.
Yeah, I mean, it's blocked out. It'll be interesting to see. My pregame is written for all 3 parts. I kind of expect we'll do all 3 of them tonight, but I did write the intermissions in, if only just because it made formatting easier, and so it wasn't just 9 million pips of battles. We'll check back in with that one.
9 million pebbles.
But what I was going to say before also was that, I've also cleared the event story, and, all the nodes are unlocked. So we need to finish farming those points, and then I need to check in, because I haven't done any of the new rank ups yet, and I do also want to, before the banner drops, finish up the free quests in id. One, because there will be new free quests with this also, but it will give me more Saint Courts for a banner. Chat also saying it means the story was meant to have those breakpoints. It's interesting. I really want to see how the breaks work, because some of them, I think the first one doesn't feel like it ends on a big climax, but it ends before a big fight. So I'm not sure. We'll have to see how the story shakes out. But yes, he has caught up on some of his leveling.
Yes.
Ready to do the grind. That means, of course, that there's no evils. Not yet.
Yet. Tune in next week, baby.
Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Especially because, I will remind people again that this upcoming Wednesday, I have been summoned for jury duty. So not only will that probably affect the streaming schedule, but while I'm sure as a criminal justice major, I will get bounced out on the first day. If, knock on wood, I am selected, God knows how that's going to work out for me. So I may not even be able to get into the story right away, depending, because it's the 30th rollover? So technically Wednesday night, Thursday morning, I think. So we'll see. But that does take us to, did you finish your master missions? Which, probably. So, I know I've said that a few times in the past, but this one's real simple, chat. To complete your master missions, you've got to defeat 5 super giant enemies. I swear to God, that must have been another mission recently, because I feel like I've made that joke very recently. Super hot. Then, you need to, these are 3 separate missions, but get 50 of each currency drop. That's dates, camels, and golden pots. Each is a separate mission. Then do 5 quests, then do 10 quests. So, everybody, say it with me. Sing it at home. Do the event. It could not be any more simpler to just do it. In fact, I think there are several super giant bosses or mid-bosses in the event to beat up. But that is going to take us on through 2 Skelegrams. Skelegram number 1, English news. The Swimsuit 2020-2022 Revival Pickup Summon starting the 19th going until the 30th. So, your banners will be Buntoria Lambda Tomoe plus CEs. No, that's wrong. Is it Tomoe? It's not Tomoe. Why did I write Tomoe twice? Doesn't make any sense. Sorry, I wrote these notes after I did the pregame, so is that correct? If it is Tomoe's correct, then who's the other one? Fate Go US. I'll just get my news straight from the source this time, chat. Which is funny because I was looking at this. Okay, so, yes, it's Buntoria, Lambda, Okita J Soji, plus CEs. Caught myself there. Normal Summer BB, Maeve, Double X, plus CEs. Kiara, Tomoe, Ilya. Not sure how I let that first one go. But yes, that's your selection of rerun banners, plus your CEs. And we now, in total, have the Summer Ishtar, Summer Tomoe, and Buntoria rank ups. So all of those have rolled out. But funnily enough, only one of them is actually linked for some reason to this revival pickup, probably because Tomoe is on the rate up. But that actually takes us over to JP, where, in Japan, they are doing Fate Grand Order Fez 2026, the Chaldea School Festival, the 11th anniversary countdown campaign, if you don't think they have enough qualifiers. This started the 22nd and will go until the 12th of August. I believe we checked in previously, and FGO Fez, I think, is the 1st and 2nd of Augustus Gloop. But this countdown campaign includes a series of missions for tickets to redeem old anniversary CEs. That's right, the Madmen finally did it. You also have a series of banners. You've got Nemo Noah and Saber Altar, Shuten Doji and June Crane, Summer Miss Crane, and Casku is up on all. They have also launched a main story quest support campaign during this time period. This includes limited time missions to clear story for quite a bit of St. Courts, 0 AP up through beginning of Aftertime. This excludes EOR, Hanko, and Trum, and half AP on past Chaldea already. This will last until the going forward. And they've got some included half AP on free quest clears until the 12th of August, if you've cleared past Chaldea. This also includes Bleached Earth if you're farming. And they've renewed or doubled Start Dash and Returning Master. Pretty normal stuff for an anniversary. Additionally, also... Sorry, I think that was thunder rumbling outside. Give me pause. Also, the Countdown campaign has a login as well for some EXPs, QPs, and Tiputs. But yeah, basically, your master missions will give you a series of CEs, starting with the earliest one from the 2017 anniversary, second anniversary, all the way through 10th. And you can just obtain +1, which is pretty cool, both for players who joined later, but also for those of us who've been here the entire time. So that's neat. Oh, sorry, I'm itching my nose. But yeah, so it's not a summon banner so far, but they are adding, a bunch of missions to get these tickets, which I think it's all right.
I mean, I've known how many times I've lamented, why can't I have more tickets?
Yeah, now you can. And let's see, I'm looking at it. Most of these are pretty normal quests you would expect. They will be released in waves, like one a day, but there's stuff like obtain, 100,000 total QP from quest rewards, obtain, skill gems or statues, clear quests 3 times, get, gold items, red or white items, orb items, all the usual stuff. The only one that you might want to keep an eye out for is, 1, perform friend point summon 10 times. So you gotta remember to do that. That's the last one. Gotta remember to hit that button at least once. And, during the campaign, earn 10,000 bond points. So make sure you actually, clear some stuff that's worth a little bit of bond. You get a big one, it's fine. If you're doing those little baby nodes for just, orb drops. But yeah, that's pretty neato.
Alright, but let's move on to the next neato thing here. It is time for our Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, a segment where we read what you have to comment to say, and comment accordingly. I'm pretty sure I mixed up some words in there, but whatever, we're moving on, like we didn't even happen. Let's hit refresh one last time to see if we got any last minute ones. We did not, so this week we have five lovely comments, and we'll get through them all, starting from the top. This one comes from... Riding camels is easy, but racing camels is not. Especially when you have a camel that might actually be red hair. It's Lubu from the side. Now it's Lubu from the back. But they say, howdy Lucky and Meg, I hope you're having a good week. Also, the bread was delicious. Thanks, I needed a snack. Thank you for reacting to my joke. This gives me joy. Question, if the Master of Chaldea was to be inscribed upon the Throne of Heroes, what class do you think they would be as a summoned servant? P.S. I am excited to stay up to watch the 14 keynote after the recording of the podcast. I don't know if we actually have anyone talking about 14 columns. Yes, happening in about little under 8 hours, the Final Fantasy XIV Berlin Fan Fest will be starting, kicking off with their 2-hour and 15-minute keynote, in which we're hoping to get a whole bunch of new information about Evercold.
Shit.
Yeah, and about 13 hours will be the live letter from the producer, where we'll be getting more information on what's coming up in the upcoming patches. So it's a very exciting time for the FF14 crew. Like I said,
I think I'm gonna have to miss the live letter from the producer.
No, I think I'm gonna have to miss that one as well. I'm staying up for the keynote is no problem for me. That's gonna actually be like 1 or 2 a.m. My time, which is not a string, as I'm usually up that late anyway. But I am usually past the F out around 7 a.m., 8 a.m. ish. Normally, I do not get up until about
like over
10
2 hours. Like that's like 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. for me. That's like a little later than I usually go, but I can go that late. I'll be a little groggy by the time it's done. But no, the after that, the block on from the live letter, I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna be fucking asleep, and I'm gonna have to like immediately start like ratcheting my sleep schedule around again because this jury duty thing that's at 8:45 in the morning in the county seat. And not to make my whole life about that, but it has been a thing I've been planning for, because if you do not show up to jury duty, if you don't know, because we have some people who aren't in the States, they'll get you. That is a court-ordered document. They'll fine you. And they know where I live because they sent me a letter, so. Live letter. Long, late. Oh. Bones
Yes, but
stretching.
the question they asked here, if the Master of Chaldea was inscribed upon the throne of heroes, what class do you think they would be as a summoned servant? Most easily, one could say caster. It's all like, he is pretty shit at, they are pretty shit at it, but they can be considered a mage. While they basically do a lot of their stuff through a lot of use of mystic codes, like I said, the master has seemed to develop their own special kind of ability involving summoning the shades of servants and whatnot. This has been a point that has been brought up several times.
Yep.
But more interestingly, no, I think he would actually be, the Master of Chaldea would be most interesting as a pretender, believe it or not. Mostly for the fact that, despite, shouldering the fate of the world and doing all these incredible things, at the very core, the Master is just a, ordinary teenager who has, had fate thrust upon them. And at the end of the day, they're kind of that same person. So I do feel like they're kind of taking on the persona, the pretending of, being a hero, being the savior and stuff. It's not something that they're actually are. It's something that they are made to be. So I think that someone who has to fake it till they make it so hard, would be actually quite interesting. And also, I think it would also play well into the idea of using shadows, fakes of, servants as their ability. So, no, I like the idea of pretender.
No, I think pretender works there. I mean, like you said, caster's the obvious one. That's where I first thought of. I think pretender does work because that is the kind of shade. First of all, pretender is anti-alter egos, weak to foreigners, which obviously, what do you even call it? Like, class advantage doesn't necessarily mean anything in lore, but it is kind of funny. And I don't know anybody who has punched more alter egos than us playing FGO. So that's a pretty strong one. And I believe the kind of fake it till you make it is how the pretender was originally described in lore. The heroic spirit of falsehood. I think my only other thought would be, because I may have been thinking a little bit about some stuff relating to another character who is a master. I would say that probably then the last Master of Humanity, the Master of Chaldea, would be whatever the opposite of a moon cancer is, of being like an Earth type. Last Master of Humanity, last guy left on Earth. Which I think actually, in this context, is ruler. And certainly, I don't think we've ever expressed a desire for the Grail in the normal sense, but we haven't done the ruler Ordeal Call yet, so I'll put a pin in that one, I think.
Yeah. Alright, but I think we've put our thoughts out there pretty well. Let's move on to the next one. The next one comes from Dripped Out, but at what cost?
Ballin', but at what cost?
Sorry, I'm trying to make a joke here. I'm trying. Have you ever dressed up with your life on the line?
It's pretty good.
Hello, Hello, Evil Woman Expert Lucky and Cyber Adjudicator Omega. Since the release of the newest Nikkei events, I was wondering two things. One, considering how they're always a character who is presented as a vile and evil person, but ends up having a very complicated and dark life, what are some of your favorite or perhaps foundational characters that fit in that category? Two, there are just some characters who are the most violent, twisted scum of the earth, but damn if they don't look super awesome, who are characters that you remember fondly for being cool and stylish enough to back up how evil they are. Have a great evening, you two, and don't forget to clear your rank ups. I'll have to get on there. Right now I'm working on free quests. I literally farmed to like 1.2 million points, like after the 90++ node opened. I'm just like, okay, we can take a break. We gotta go do something else. I'm sick of seeing Beowulf.
Yeah, I'm on the 90++ myself. So I'll catch up.
But
I have not caught up on my new rank ups though.
But this person is speaking about in how Nikkei, as they have done several times, they have taken a character that people before would have sworn up and down is, the bane of the world, the salt of the earth, and is a vile, disgusting creature. And they've revealed that their motivations are way more human than that, and maybe they are a product of their circumstances instead of a sociopath. Which is one of those things that how do I want to put this? it's one of those things I've always tried to caution people about in reading writing, especially when it comes to characters that seem easily hateable or dislikable for whatever reason. A common thing that I like to say to these people are, villains are made, not born. Very rarely do you have a character that is born being a fucking scumbag. Generally, there's something in there.
Like, even if you're writing, like, a sociopathic villain, usually then the thing is just like, well, they were born bad, but nobody ever fixed them, like, nobody ever corrected them on the path, right? Like...
Yes, no, like... That's one of those things, like, I try to tell people, if we want to be, like, completely neutral on whatnot, everyone is, no one is born knowing what is right and wrong. They are only born knowing their own desires and knowing their own desires and the desire to not get in hurt or trouble. Generally, this means that unless they are taught, people will know how to fight, lie, steal without having anyone to teach them. Society and the neighborhood you're around is what shapes your ethics and morals into being being what is, considered, a proper human being nowadays. If there is some error in that in your upbringing or your surroundings, you can end up with very fucked up individuals, which has happened quite a few times in Nikkei.
Yeah, I actually missed. I saw this comment posted. I think it was the first one that was posted, so I skimmed it earlier. I missed the bit about it being about Nikkei. I was like, this seems oddly specific. I'll get into it later, but yeah,
yes,
it's like something.
Yes,
on. But honestly, I will say, not just about Nikkei. FGO also does this all the fucking time. Makes awful, terrible people suddenly realize, like, oh shit, they just wanted to play on the playground.
Except for
and
Barrel.
Other
Fuck
times,
Barrel.
It's true. Well, no, that was great. That guy was in fact fucked up from start to finish. He was fucked up by his fucked up upbringing, but he had no desire for change, and his motivations were dumb, and I didn't like him.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he died like a dog. Anyway, but like that is also a pretty common Fate classic, of just like shifting your perspective. I think one of the earliest ones is that, if you know a lot about, say, like, Cursed Arm Hassan from Heaven's Feel, that guy's like a fucking Terminator in that story arc. The first one. Like, he's a real rude, crude dude who just kind of appears like an unstoppable monster. But in FGO, you meet him on your side, and you know of him as our lovable Uncle Arms. He gave me a cloth. I love that cloth. Conversely, I will say, FGO had another problem, I feel like, for a while, where, they would put characters on the villain side, and they would make them seem really fucked up for us to fight. So much so that, like, that carried a negative vibe with the audience for, like, years after.
Looking at you, Gawain.
Yeah, Gawain, Tristan, even though he was literally inverted. I also want to say, Scheherazade, not Doman. Doman deserves to be stuffed in a jar of dirt.
I sense just orange oil in the eye. Just get him every time.
He's just pretending. No, Old Man Moriarty is like another case of like a guy who's like another like arguably real bad dude, but we just get over it.
Well, see, that's the thing. He's affably evil, which is something that I personally love. I love it when a dude is, he's a bad dude, but he's just charismatic and friendly nonetheless. It's such a vibe and a mood, and I love it every single time. And that's what Moriarty is.
Villain writing is really important because that's in a sense kind of like what this question is about, right? It's like, thinking about what, because I'm trying to think about like villains who seem unrepentantly evil but turn out to be complex later. There's a lot of those. My mind keeps flashing back to I don't think Shenpai coined this. I think she was quoting a random Twitter comic, but she said it in such a memorable way, like on a video at one point, that I always think of it. I just want to play on the playground. Which I think was a tweet that was about villains in Final Fantasy XIV.
I can see that. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's true though. Like there are a lot of people who are really nasty shitheels in Final Fantasy XIV, but also they are perfectly valid from their own points of view. That's like very complicated for you to unpack and have to go like, okay, so I have to fight you for reasons, which is that our, goals are completely at odds, which includes destroying me and everything I hold dear. But also, I do understand how this works if the circumstances were flipped, because to you have to destroy me because I oppose everything that stands in the way of your ideals, you know?
No, and I think, like, we haven't actually got to it about memorables, and unfortunately, I'm sorry, I can't, like, pull them out of my hat. Like I said, I'm sorry, guys, I don't read for retention, I read for comprehension. So it's very hard for me to just pull examples out of the air.
I'm better at retention, but it's more about facts. Like, you're trying to ask me, like, who's my foundational guy for that? I'm like, oh man, I don't know. What would I think of as my root? I don't know. I can probably list you some good ones if I thought about it, but...
Well, I will not get into details about that, but my foundational for me for that is me. Lucky has done some fucked up shit in his life, and like I said, I'm not going into it. I will not. But it has made me realize, especially as I get older, that, you know, people do some fucked up reasons, and at the time, I thought my reasons were completely valid and fair, and I could do no wrong, only to realize, you know, 10, 20, 30 years later, it's like, wait, no, that was real fucked up of me. Why did I do that? And then, you know, kind of ruminate on that. It's one of the reasons why, like, Lucky is very, very sympathetic to villains. It's because, like, unless you have lived someone's life, you do not know what has made them the way they are. And I always want to give that person at least a chance to, you know, explain how they got to their way. Like, to turn this back into Nikke, like, this is like one of those things that, like, I'm pretty sure I've referenced this before, but Oswald from the Overzone, event, one of the first big major events outside of, story, got generational amounts of hate, for his actions. Me and a few others were the very few who, we weren't saying like he did nothing wrong, but we were trying to be like, guys, calm down. There might be reasons for this. There is evidence to suggest that maybe he's not, you know, being like this evil mastermind at all. You know, it took, God, what was like, let's see, was it Red Ash? It was Red Ash and, in the mirror before we got like a lot of the story. And oh boy, then an Annis's event, Be My Star. Oh God, no. Well, suffice to say, Oswald had a complete 180 turn in the fandom's perception, now calling him, you know, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. But there was still a period in the fandom where Oswald was literally one of the most hated characters in the game. To a lesser extent, Birmingham was as well, just not to the same degree. Much more people were willing to, you know, argue on behalf of what he was trying to do and whatnot. But again, comes out later that, you know, he might have been a much better dude than it was expected. He might actually just be playing a villain. For real.
That's always another really complex one, the character who's, like, just pretending. Like, if you want to ask about, like, you know, villains who just seem cool, but also are also being complex, like, it's been going around because some people have been, I don't know why exactly they have been doing it, but some people have been posting clips of the Code Geass dub, because if you have never watched the English dub of Code Geass, Johnny Young Bush and Yuri Lowenthal are going fucking crazy in that show, okay? Like, you know, they're going absolutely nuts, which fits the vibe of the show because Code Geass is incredibly melodramatic. It's very Byronic. But that is another one that's like, you want to talk about it, right? Like Lelouch, as the kind of villain protagonist, anti-villain character, you know, does a lot of real fucked up shit and ends up doing more fucked up shit in the end because that's his plan, is to pretend to be the biggest villain. But also, like, his incredibly over-the-top theatrics make him sympathetic both in and out of universe. To which I think there's probably, at least for a while after the anime came out, there was quite a lot of debate, like, as it was going on, like, is he in the right or not?
No. So, like, again, I cannot, you know, nail down specific ones. Because, like, as I said, while there are many, you know, sympathetic villains or, you know, anti-villain villains, you know, villains who have a point and whatnot, or as, another person said, it's really hard to rule a nation. I think that's like, an avenue that I would like to explore more, because I feel like that one gets, sidelined a lot. Guys, it's really hard to run a nation. Nobody likes what you're doing, no matter what. Everything costs way more than it should, and everyone is trying to figure out your deepest secrets and undermine you. It takes a certain kind of person to deal with that bullshit on a daily basis, and they generally don't turn out good.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to be said for that. That's and that is a kind of a bullet point in a lot of stories as well. That kind of realization of like, you know, because everybody thinks I can do this job perfectly, and then you get the job, and then you're just like, oh, wait a minute. One, people won't just do what I tell them to do, but also like all the, you know, the problems that crop up in real life. Some people are just contrarians. They don't like doing what they're told, even if what they're told is in their best interest. You know, hopefully people at home have heard the phrase, you know, cut off your nose to spite your face.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's like, there are people who are like that. You know, there are people who, as Lucky said, will always be scheming to undermine you because they, you know, have avarice in their hearts. You know, they always want to go one step taller, kind of a thing. So you always have to watch out for that. And also, even if you don't have bad actors, you will have people who are just, like, you know, well, maybe they don't know better, or maybe they're acting in their best interest, but they conflict. Like, there's a lot of complexity. That's why there's a lot of discussion of, you know, realpolitik. And you see it in fiction because it's a thing that is observed in the real world, that, you know, a lot of people who get power either don't know what to do with it or don't deserve it.
Mm.
Honestly, it's why, like, this is a trope I've noticed a lot, is that I think it's why you find a lot of superheroes are written this way, for heroes, that they almost never choose to obtain powers. Powers are always either, like, inherently some part of them they had no choice over, or, like, it's an accident, and then they just have to decide what to do with the juice. Whereas villains are like, yes, I willingly injected me with super soldier serum, and it turned me into a weird, fucked up skull face.
But the other half of this is, yes, if you are an irredeemably evil villain, yes, you should dress immaculately, because that's amazing. In the latest Nikkei event, one focusing on the Messiahless corporation, one of the big three corporations in the game, we finally got to see Suin, who has been a hate sink for the past 3 years for a lot of people. Not me, I love her. We finally have gotten her backstory, and we saw her father, who is, you know, probably a sociopath. Probably. Refers to Suin as the little one, and her half-sister as the big one.
Bad dad signs detected. My bad dad dar is going off.
Yeah. But boy, howdy does he look good. Actually, I think I took it. I did some tweeting while I was in there. Let me see if I can go.
I mean, well, thinking about it, you've reminded me, all the villainous T-dolls in Girls Frontline 2 are, like, dripped as hell or really sexy. A lot of people went crazy over, Cocoon's design. That's the pink-haired woman with the big boobs and the big thighs.
I do like the big boob, and I do like the big thigh.
A lot of people are hoping she becomes positively playable later. But yeah, no, like, there's a lot of enemy units who are designed to look pretty cool or sexy in Girls Frontline. And I'm gonna be honest, most of them are also unrepentant sociopaths. Like, they are, you know, almost none of them are, like, happy to see you, happy to work with anybody, and usually will have a villainous breakdown in the third act being like, what the fuck do you mean these 10-year-old piece of junk dolls are kicking my ass? Oh my god. That guy has bones on his pants.
Yeah, well, he's an entertainment CEO. Yeah, but the classic is great. He's such a, like, this is like slight spoiler, but I just want to just say this. This guy is such a villain that he would rather die from a disease. He would let himself die from a disease just so he could fuck over his son one more time.
Oh wow, ultimate hater energy. That's
yes.
Lex Luthor tier.
No, it's real fucked up. Guy literally
champion of haters.
Guy literally had a cure to a disease in his hand and threw it against the wall, breaking it, because his son, if he lived, his son would, you know, well, I don't want to give it away, man, but no, this man chose death over this man chose, you know, to die for, you know, entertainment.
That's another classic, like, you know, your villain is all about the style kind of a thing, you know, picking your moment of death, just being like, well, this is gonna kill me, but this is how it has to be.
Also, his theme song is fucking baller. I hate it, but I love it. But yeah, no, if you're gonna be evil, dress fucking well. Especially if you're evil and you have money. If you're evil and you have money, dress good. Just how it is. I don't think I got anything more really to say on that. We jawed about that a lot. So, we're gonna move on for that.
Big gotcha cross-section. Yeah, moving on.
Yeah. So the next one comes from the Tyrant King, counting down the days until he can vacation in October. Hell yeah, vacation. Hey guys, with San Diego Comic-Con going on, are there any announcements you're looking forward to? Also for Omega, do you think Yu-Gi-Oh! Will eventually have sync releases for JP on product release for main boosters? Since everyone from Bandai to Bushiroad is apparently on that train at the moment. Anyway, that's it for me. Sending good vibes your way. Wah, 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 wah. And hope you have a great evening. I did not even realize that San Diego Comic-Con was going on. I have seen a few announcements.
A really big weekend.
Yeah, I have heard some things coming in through the pipeline. Maybe there were announcements at the con. I don't know. But, unfortunately, like, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything I want announced.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I know that there was there was a panel about Spaceballs, which was cool. They had a huge panel, and they, standing ovation for Rick Moranis, who's, unretiring for this job. But I don't really know of too much else going on. Actually, I think now that I'm thinking about it, that the release date announcement for Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 may have been as a result of SDC, or 2Cs, which is it's going to be, I believe it's another August release, which is a little complicated. But I am also very excited for that game, because the first one's really cool. But announcements that haven't happened yet, I'm kind of like, not sure. I'll be surprised, I guess. On the subject of simultaneous Yu-Gi-Oh! Releases, this I'm not so sure. I think they could do it, but also that would kind of change the way it is done, because even now, not just for text-wise, there are differences between the OCG sets in Japan and the TCG sets in America. TCG sets in America obviously have adjustments to various rarity and printing methods, but also usually include extra cards, which is both world premieres and imports. And I don't know how long it takes Konami to schedule those, basically, like to plan and develop them. They would have to cycle all their pace up to make that still work, or they would have to give you smaller core sets in the TCG, which I don't think is the direction people really want to go, but we'll see. I do know that there are sometimes, product delays between regions anyway, so we will see, I guess, if they're driven for tighter release windows or even simul releases.
All right, but with that, we shall move on. Thank you very much. The next one comes from Monster Girl Aficionado, who says, Dear Lucky and Omega, what are you looking forward to this weekend from FF14's Fan Fest? I'm personally looking forward to more info about the action skins they teased in Anaheim. Hopefully some more info on Evolved Mode Combat. Keep up the good work. Sending good vibes your way. Wah, 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 wah. And there's so many things I'm excited for the keynote specifically.
To the most. Well, Yoshipi's got to come out cosplaying the new class.
Yes,
he's got it.
We're gonna get our first class. Like we're gonna get the new opening movie, which is gonna have the class in it. Yoshi P is probably gonna come out in cosplay. Probably. He might have to go get changed because we still got a second. He's got to wear a shirt to tease off the next one. But yeah. So I think those are the two things that I'm most excited for. Giving me seeing the new trailer, because I like looking at it. I like analyzing, but yes, what is happening here?
14 trailers are really good. There are so many people out there who just watch the 14 trailers and go, holy shit, what the fuck is this game?
Ooh, excuse me. The new class. Evolved mode, yes, I want to know more about that. I'm hoping we can skip more breakdowns of additional classes showing up. We only got to see, what was it, Bard and White Mage, I believe, last time.
And Paladin.
And Paladin, excuse
Paladin
me.
was their tank, which was that one was a huge, score for me, because all the cool context sensitive stuff was really neat. But I'm hoping we might get a little more description of those context sensitive things, right? Like, how does the game choose between doing AoEs versus single target? Like, is it truly a thing of if you're close to 3 or more guys, you'll do an AoE button, but if there's only one guy, you'll do a single target button. If you're far away, you'll do a ranged thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, what are the actual, rules of the tooltips? Very interesting to see. But yes, I would also love to see more jobs, because there's quite a lot of interesting. Oh, I think if they did Dragoon as the melee job as well. I don't think they showed any casting jobs, so a casting job would be probably a good pick.
Oh, did they also? I forgot. But yes, I would like to see what they're doing with Summoner, and also like this person mentioned action skins. I want to know if I can like put on different skins onto my summons. This is what I want.
Yeah, that sounds like important for Summoner. I think there's a lot of interesting vibes for like picking your action skins for certain other jobs with like attacks and stuff. And just honestly, you know, they kind of describe that like maybe as a thing that they'll do with like teleport, like just like generic actions. It could be interesting. But yeah, no, more interesting about evolved mode. And also, I also am a little curious myself in general. I do want to kind of see forever about like, hey, how are we killing the 2-minute meta? Because we're killing the 2-minute meta for everybody. What is that going to look like? Like, you know, we're getting rid of the usual 2-minute buffs, but what does that mean? Is that just we don't do that anymore? Do you have like a self buff that you just do as part of your rotation now? What else?
Sorry, I just checked in one of our Discord side, and someone has posted the Spaceball Cinematic Universe thing. I'm like,
yeah, I think they showed that at the STC panel, which is great. Yeah, no, they're super self-aware.
No, it's
also,
great.
actually, that's the thing I hope for Evolvement they fix. Our chat's talking about it. Coin flips on Bard and Dancer. I don't think Bard had a lot of coin flips. I hope they do the same thing with Dancer. Coin flip skills, coin flip rotations, gotta suck.
Yes, but I think that's most of what I want. Just give me like new stuff. Like I'm not particularly interested in the battle pass system that they're coming out with, nor the UI changes. Jesus, I want the mechanics. But yeah, I think it's it for that. Unless Omega has anything else they wanna add.
No.
All right, then we move on to last but not least. We move to Gent418, who says, "Hello, Lucky Omega. Have a good weekend, y'all. I will try. Thank you, though.
We do our best.
We do our best." So with that, Mailbag is done. Thank you so much, everyone who sent in the comment. I'm glad to read each one every week. If any of you out there are interested in getting your comments read on Mailbag, please check on our YouTube community or our Discord on Friday afternoons. Lucky will usually post it around then, and all you have to do to get your things read on air is follow the instructions. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But with that, I'll turn this back over to Omega.
Alrighty, that means we are leaving Mailbag and firmly entering Chaldea Free Talk. I think then we should probably begin with Celeb Summer final impressions before diving on into Ordeal Call 3. How does that sound, everybody? Sorry, I was also a stall for time to drink some water. But yes, Celeb Summer, the summer event. This one was really interesting. We talked about this last week when we were kind of pretty early, right? Like, it was only like 1 or 2 sections were out, maybe 3 total by the time we recorded. So, pretty early on, and now all of it's out. I want to say, I think the foremost thing is, and I did write one note about this so I wouldn't forget, you, Lucky, speaking of you tweeting, you did tweet out a side-by-side. And, yeah, this one really does feel a lot like a Seraph 2, where it starts looking like a perfectly normal limited time event. Obviously, we knew it would be an EOR, but, you know, the way the Seraph was originally built was it looked a lot like an extra collab. You know, collab characters and all.
If you open up the tweet, you can see them side by side.
Yeah.
Actually, can I?
Yeah, I think if you do fix, it'll do both. I think. I don't know how video stacking embeds. I work on Discord. Twitter stuff is bungled sometimes. Okay, no, it only shows one. Interesting. It's just not won't embed 2. Anyway, the original Seraph looked, you know, a lot because it was the extra CCC X FGO event. You know, it was built like a collab, and then it turned into literally. I forgot it was like this, but the logo is Epic of Remnant Extra, right? And then this one is, it starts as a summer event, and then you get partway through, and then you're like, haha, fuck you, Ordeal Call 3. And again, in Japan, I'm pretty sure they did announce that there would be some story event, like, tied to this, but I don't remember if they said explicitly it was Archetype Inception. Obviously, for us, you know, we outlined everything ahead of time, but it's still, like, a very interesting swerve. So, yes, it's very true to form. And actually, I'll say it now. I think I'll need to ask you later to direct upload the video you captured of the logo switching. I think I might want to use that in the BB Wanted. I don't think I can save videos off of Twitter.
Oh, yeah, I did. I don't think I can put them on Discord, unfortunately. I think they're too big.
Too big? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll think about getting
they're only 10 seconds, but I did record them at 1080p. I'll figure out something.
Yeah.
I think I can upload them to Google Drive, actually.
Yeah, you can drive and give me a link later.
Yeah.
You can do that as the video insert. Because otherwise I record... I mean, I may do that anyway. I'll see about the exact placement, but record ABB. Actually, no, it's probably better to do this video. Sorry, I'm building the Wanted in my head in real time, chat, which is not necessarily what the section is, but I was just thinking to myself, because BB Dubai does have 2 NPs, it would actually make less sense to do her NP video as the like video insert in the start of the Wanted, because there'll be 2 of them, and I'd have to pick which one. But anyway, we'll worry about that at a later date. This one, in fact, has some Seraph-like vibes. Spoilers for the Ordeal Call 3 part, that's not going to go away. There's going to be some callbacks in the Moon Cancer chapter. I know, weird. But it's very interesting because up until the, like, I don't even want to really call it a twist, more of like the sharp swerve, jerking the car off the road over the cliff. But up until that, like, honestly, this was played pretty straight as a summer event. We talked about this a little last time, but I continued kind of that feeling. Most of the plot beats were the kind of stories you would expect during a summer event, especially a summer event which is very, very much focused on kind of like being a destination vacation, right down to they sent, like art team members and the like out to Dubai to get some, background footage. And I think we mentioned this last week, but there is a Dubai native in our community on our Discord who's been talking about it as they go through stuff. And apparently some of the descriptions were used for things were like directly lifted from the tourism the tourism board. So yeah, no, they probably also did get like a tourism packet to work from. So yeah, like this event is like very focused on that kind of vibe. Arguably, like, even more so than, like, the Hawaii or, Haltria or, Haltoria or,
Vegas?
Las Vegas ones were, yeah.
Yeah, no, they really went all in on, selling it. Like, that isn't to say that they didn't do it with the other events as well, but not to this degree. Like, again, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I really feel like FGO is, like, trying to sell me the tourist package with this event. My suspect is that someone in Dubai, you might have slipped Lasangal a check for this. Or maybe comp their fucking stay.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. My thought was that, maybe, somebody contacted the tourism board and say, hey, we're doing a research trip to gather art materials and stuff for, a video game we're releasing. And then they were like, okay, we'll comp the trip and send you some packets to work with. 'Cause, like, this is, like, super locked in. I don't think it's like, what do I say? Like, it's not pure pragmatism, because I also think being so painfully accurate to Dubai makes the parts where it is actually different stand out more, because that is kind of a recurring theme in the story, is that, we did talk about this last time, both Percival and Lip, like, read their background information, so whenever something is not quite right, they catch onto it and usually go, wait a minute. Even to the point of, I don't remember which event beat it was, but at one point they were just like, yeah, some things are not in the right place, and we cannot chalk that up to it just being 2030, right? Just being a few years into the future. So, like, it is supposed to be pretty accurate, but also does stand apart. But the general, like, again, beat-to-beat story, day-to-day activities, because we are, going on a tour and sightseeing, are pretty summer themed, the kind of stuff you would expect. I'm trying to think, what are some big standout ones? Like, let's see. I think in the terms of,
we went on the desert. We went on the
desert.
We went on the desert.
Camel races. Where we ran into Zenobia out of nowhere.
Races, hung out on the beach. We went to the mall. We went to the market.
The souk, yeah, that was another good section where, we are like, to get the authentic Dubai experience, you gotta haggle. Where could you learn to haggle, master? And then Duradana shows up. Duradana with Hashvataman. That was a good little dose of him. Also thinking about how we actually run into Double X. We get sidetracked by the CEO of not Amazon S, but Unver Eats. Someone is stealing all of our sweets. You know the master knew who it was the moment that happened. I'm just like, yes, I see.
I think you could say something to the effect.
Yeah. But, like, it has those vibes of being a mostly summer event. It's got lots of cameos for the supporting cast who are with us, and then also for kind of like, usual interludes for the people around us. Get a little bit of extra Kentucky action in there. Very odd side story with Nikic's horse, who is a dragon. It was an oddball one, but also involved some Kentucky. Shit, Kentucky don't got a summer skin, does he?
No, I think he was rocking out in this Heian Warrior for that one, which I guess is close enough.
Did that for that one, and then for his other one, he was just himself. I could see it.
Kentucky does need a skin now. Right, give me that Kentucky skin.
It'd be a pretty good one, pretty good. But yeah, like, it had all those moments. But at the same time, there was this interesting undercurrent of, like, the investigation of, like, the kind of, like, simultaneous factor of, what the fuck's going on with Aresh? What's going on with her? What's her dealio? We very quickly loop Passion Lip into our conspiracy.
Well, that's because she has presence concealment. We accidentally let it slip.
Yeah, we talked about it in front of her, and she was just like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I think my favorite thing about this, though, is that everyone else figures it out anyway, and we're just all like, no, if we actually bring this out into the open, it's gonna ruin the summer vacation. We gotta keep it mum.
Yeah, I know, that was a great, not even twist, but, like, it was a fun through line where they literally do this a couple of times. You have multiple scenes back at the hotel where on one side of the panel, it's Master Aresh Lip talking, and then, like, in the middle of the conversation, it does, like, a split-screen cross-cut to MASH and the entire rest of our party having the same conversation, basically.
Yeah. No, well, personally, I love that. I actually really did.
Very fun. Yeah. Like, they all logic it all out, and then, hey, gang, if you're not caught up here, watch out, spoilers. But the way that concludes with just, like, we're preparing to go through the final obstacle, and we just turn to MASH and go, like, okay, alright, well, it's time to come clean to each other, and MASH is like, Master, what do you mean? And it's just like, no, if you know the Master well enough to figure out what's going on, that means the Master knows you well enough to know that you know what's going on.
Well, like I said, it was, like, the literal last moment. Like,
yeah.
If all that thing had gone to plan, we would have been going home after this. But.
Right.
But
I did like that the moment we didn't choose to let it, like, simmer. It was like, okay, this is the last thing we're gonna do. We all gotta come clean, just in case BB tries to fucking kill us. Spoilers. BB tries to fucking kill us.
Well, she hasn't tried to kill us yet. We had the exposition, man, then we went up to the fucking tower, and now
well, that's
she's
true.
All like,
she doesn't literally try and kill us yet.
Yet. I still think she's gonna try and kill us, but it hasn't happened. Like, honestly, like, this whole summer vacation really feels like a prologue.
No, that's what I was gonna say was the weird bit about it, where it's like, it is like a summer vacation, but it is very clearly like, I don't want to say stringing us along, because that doesn't sound quite right, but, like, it is paced out to be a prologue. It sets up our cast of characters, like, lets you spend some time with all the, boys and gals, introduces us just a little bit to BB Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in our patron chat brought this up as well, but also very interesting that we kind of hold Seal in reserve a lot.
Well,
like,
I think his part is, like, we're not in crisis at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nothing, like, while we had some up and downs, nothing bad is happening, which honestly is one of the 3 points I think that you start picking up on throughout the series. Everyone seems filled with joy. Everyone has so much joy.
Everybody has everything they need. And Aresh mentions it a couple of times, but never actually, I think she might mention it to us in, like, one of the bedroom scenes, but we don't seem to do much with it. But she does comment on a couple of times to herself about there's no stench of death anywhere in this Dubai, which obviously to me is another one. It was one of the factors that immediately keyed out of, like, no, that probably means that something has gone wrong with the natural order of things.
No, like, another, like, thing that clued me off is, like, during, like, the market, during the souk, someone mentioned that no one really buys or sells anymore. Everyone has everything they want already. I'm just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I think that was that Karen who mentioned that? I think it was.
Might have been. Oh, actually, before we move on, that does remind me of a moment, because that was the moment we both cottoned on to. There was a weird thing going on with the script there with Erise.
Yeah, no. It still stinks of machine translation to me, as someone who does use read machine translations to read some things in Japanese.
No, I've read some machine translation as well. Pronouns in Japanese are not well handled by machine translation.
No.
You get a lot of gender switching. Because I think I saw you tweet about it, then I read it myself, and then I talked about it in Discord later. It is a little weird where, like, I think it really is, like, every other line. So I'm not sure if it is a deliberate move or what, but if it is on purpose, whatever gag they're trying to do doesn't scan in English.
It really doesn't.
So, I don't know. Yeah, it feels weird. And like you said, machine translation does fuck up the pronouns, so, like, that could very easily also be a thing. It's odd. I do know that... Ooh, sorry. I had a cough in there. What I was gonna say was that I know that FGO, like, what's the word? Has, like, subcontract out, like a first pass of some scripts, and that's supposed to be reviewed by the localization team at, Aniplex. But, regardless, it's another thing of, like, saying, if it went female then male every time. That does feel deliberate, but it's still, like, I don't get it.
No. Because nowhere in Karen's profile or her stats does we actually mentioned, her being part of a male, Amor being a male god. And we have several females who ride shotgun with male gods, and this never, ever happens. So why is it happening right here, right now? Like, you need to explain that to me first before you say it feels intentional. Why, if it's intentional, why are they doing it?
Yeah, that is the thing. Like, it could still be intentional, but the intention feels lost because I'm not following. I mentioned this in our Discord. I think there was a joke line in Karen's Valentine's event, which was like, wait a minute, while she's still wearing the paper bag, I think, of like, isn't, Amor a male god? But I don't think it was like a big punchline. And it's been several years, and I'm like, I can barely recall it. And as Lucky brought out, we don't really make that gag for any other characters.
No, like, in some cases, they'll, like, do a little nod, like, fun fact, Nikovich's gender listed in her FGO file is female ? Karen is just straight female, and I checked her traits. It's, like, there's no, like, no traits that suggest anything, so there's no indication that you would treat
like, if it is a gag about Karen, it feels a little too removed for me to parse it. I don't...
Yeah.
She's just Karen, like, her being a more Karen, like I said, that may not be, like, a mistranslation or a machine translation issue, and it may just have been that the event was written with a weird, obscure gag that, like, isn't reading to us, but it's still, yes, that's a good way to put it. Whatever is going on is lost in translation, whether it is lost in translation because it was fed through a machine, or just, we had a very literal read on a joke that doesn't go anywhere. I don't know.
Now, if anyone knows the text in Japanese or can do a translation, please let us know. I would like to know for sure.
I wonder, because, like, we could have, technically, I guess Erise could have switched, like, a pronoun or, like, a tense, like, every word as well. That would probably be very obvious in a Japanese script because that sounds super stilted. But also, I don't know, Erise, what the fuck do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? That's I think no matter what, that's where I'm going to end up. I'm going to be like, what do you mean? What's going on here? I don't get it. Otherwise, I think the Suk section was okay. The fighting against the spice was very funny. He had to go super spice mode. But yes, that was one of the sections where there was a thing going on. Also, I do want to say it's interesting. I understand, I think, some of the anticipation now, but I am glad that we saw the Hakunos so much in this story. Arguably more than even Seal. Definitely more than Seal.
They're so wise and so helpful and always right where you need them to be.
Almost like some sort of senpai situation. Which honestly, I'm thinking about it. The Master of Kaguya could use a senpai, could use a senior, like, we're used to being senpai, and, like, Kadok is trying, but Kadok, it's weird to say this about being a mage, but Kadak is almost too much of a normal guy sometimes for us, where he's just like, what do you mean your plan is to go fucking crazy and dive face first into a super Justice Rider bomb? What are you talking about? What's your problem, man?
You see, our methods are too weird for Kadak. This is the man who, after the arcade event, just had to go fucking sit down. It's like, yeah, we brought back a beast. Kadak's just like, okay.
Kadak's not gonna have a good time when we get back to the not the Shadow Border, the Storm Border after this either.
No. It's like, because technically we can say we have like, also, honestly, actually, now that you mentioned that, Legendary, they could have probably, if they were actually mentioning like Kyrie in that conversation as well, that could be good, but the text gave no indication that she was talking about two people.
Yeah, at first, when I first read the line before I even realized what it was about, I was like, oh, is she talking about Kyrie? I guess it could be a joke of like, we don't know who's gonna show up, but at the same time, whether it's Kyrie or Karen, is just like, I don't know, like I said, it feels like she set up the joke way too hard for just, it's Karen and not Kyrie, right? Like, it just, I don't know. It's too big of a pitch.
Anyway, but, no, like, our senpais in Kelly are relatively few. Like, we got Kadak, we got Pyson, but Pyson doesn't really count because, well, one, she's a horrible senpai, because she's just kind of like, fuck this, I wanna chill with my husband.
Yeah. Pyson, we call her Pyson, not senpai, because she is not a senpai type character. Wodaime a little bit tried for it, but he was more of a rival character. Daybit did a couple of like weird senpai things in LB7, but he was mostly inscrutable.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Emiya's not best senpai. Emiya is best mom.
Canonical, yes. Like, Emiya does do some senpai things, but like, he definitely is more of the team mom role, which is like kind of where it is. Like, almost ends up being more sensei, which is also where I think Seal will end up when she's an actual character, will be Seal sensei, like, our experiences with, like, Dr. Roman and Big Da Vinci were definitely more of the sensei type character. They were our guardians and our guides, and, Madam President's Madam President, obviously.
She's the president.
She's, she's not senpai, she's incho. So, yeah, like, there's, this kind of role modelry is very good, and they, as you did say, Lucky, the two of them, either separately or together, just kind of show up whenever they're needed to offer advice as mysterious part-timers.
I do like the final night where Arashi Girl goes to the gym and they're both there. And, Arashi Girl just gets into the zen of running.
Yeah. No, I like that one too for a lot of reasons. First of all, the joke of them being like, you can just call us boy and girl. Like, not even bothering with, like, cause saying part-timer wouldn't be specific. But then they, talk about gym stuff, and then, Arash is just like, I don't know, I'm just here I can't sleep, I'm here to clear my head. And it's like, okay, you need the treadmill, girl. And then they get her running and, like, really help her unpack some stuff, which is important.
Nah.
After we'd already gotten this, friendly senpai advice.
I do like how they explained, like, maybe this whole thing's just kind of a random accident. Maybe, you ran into another version of you somewhere, and you're just like, me as a player going, with, double X alter going like, you smell like the servant first, and I'm just like,
No, they telegraphed it. And the reason why I thought of the Hakunos was because I was thinking of the first time we run into Hakuno Male, which is, he drops a thing about, talking about people from, Earth, and it's just like, The Master and Mash were too busy getting lost, being separated from their guide in the mall, but I did the fucking Joseph Joestar just like zoom in, because like that was, in case you didn't get it, it's a very obvious tell. Like there are certainly enough clues to let you know that things are not functioning normally in this Dubai for a lot of reasons, and everything kind of comes together. I do think there were some great, we talked about like some great production value stuff. Like, some very cool animation and transitions and a few things. And the exhibition match final fight was super cool.
No, I just love the backgrounds changing with just all of the servants in there as, the summer theme plays. It's like, yeah! Everything's going great! This is the big finish! It was not the big finish.
no, it very rapidly got very spooky. But, like, as a concept, it was super cool to have that, animated background go through, showing all the characters and, like, kind of, like, different places you've been. It's like, okay, that's real neat.
No, like, we've been having some great production and battles and whatnot. I don't know if we're ever gonna do, like, a Witch on the Holy Night Reading one, but if we do it, I absolutely am gonna do it just so I could do that final battle again, where we go from the grayscale, we're going the grayscale, and then the music starts up, everything goes into color, and Alco just gets a fuck ton of buffs. Oh god, I'm tearing up thinking about it right now. No, we're going a little ham here.
No, this is real good stuff.
Nah, I'm excited.
Honestly, I mean, I think the Mahoyo collab went so hard because that's one of Nasu's babies.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how I want to phrase this, but, like, this is written by Nasu. Ordeal Call 3 was written by Nasu himself. I don't know if this is one of his babies, but I strongly suspect we're gonna find out some shit about, like, the moon and humans, because the subtitle of this is, like, I think it translates to something like the new humanity in Latin, and it's called Archetype Inception. So, I think we're gonna get not just some Nasu drops about moon cancers, but also about archetypes and whatever the fuck is going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Brain of the planet type shit. So, like, this one's definitely gonna be a bit of a ramp, I think. I will say, I did note a couple of times, like, listening to this one. It was interesting in the sound space. We used a lot of classic summer themes, obviously, but some of the tunes for this summer event, like the map theme, kind of remind me of the vibes they went with OC1, which could be another, like, subtle cue.
We used some tracks from CCC as well. There was definitely some Spinal...
Yeah.
I think there might have been I don't know if there was a new Spinal Coaster in there, but there was definitely some Spinal Coaster in there.
Yeah, that's hard to tell, because I think they did, like, 4 variations of Spinal Coaster for CCC.
They did. That's why I'm like, I'm not sure if it's a new one or not.
Yeah. Obviously, we reused, the BB channel, both the normal and the dark version. Comes in at the end there. And did a few other classic themes. I was listening through in the final battle, and it's, like, we went back to the old school, part 1, victory theme. Just like, yes, everything's normal. And then it was not normal.
It was not normal.
But yeah, anything else to say about the event pre the finale?
Pre the finale? Let's see here. No, we talked about the part-timers. Areshkigal's deal really isn't talked about. It's worried about a lot, but nothing ever really happens of it. We do the the Dubai tourism package. I don't think there's any much to say there. We do run a gambit of servants and funny things. Honestly, I do think my favorite has been Jufu in this in this scenario. Like, I mentioned it earlier, but Jufu, like, especially right now, definitely feels like the childhood friend who turned into your girlfriend. She is super clingy and needy on you. Not like to the excess that, like, of Lady Yu, because she will ditch you for Python in a heartbeat. But a lot of her lines indicate a closeness that is a lot closer than one would expect for a normal. How many girls do you know demand that you call them cute or to feed them? Not a lot.
No, and I think part of that is kind of like her archetype. She definitely is supposed to be, like, the weird codependent one, and, like, being summoned by Chaldea, she gets kind of, like, used to relying on you, but not you.
Mm-hmm.
Get a chance. It was a gag. I didn't mean it that way, but, like, and it's an interesting comparison because, like, when we see her as the villain of the summer camp, it's obviously, like, supposed to be a little bit of, like, a creepy codependency, like, oh, don't worry, Lady Yu, I'm gonna figure out a way to kill you for good, just like you wanted. And Python has to be like, you're not gonna do it, dumbass, stop doing that. Blarg, I'm dead again. Also, don't kill me. Zhang Yu is at Chaldea right now. But when we meet her
super honeymoon.
Yeah, when we meet her on Trom, like, because there's no Yu at all, she's, like, a very different vibe, where she's not, I don't think she really does do her codependency bit as much. It's more just like I have no idea what I'm doing, but I can probably do this.
No, she definitely, like, slots into, like, this girl's your friend kind of vibe. She's always complaining about things, but always pulls through in the pinch.
But she has a great side story in this event, which is about, like, does show some of that clinginess, that codependency, but also shows her trying to grow as a person, because she's like, Master, I want to hang out with Mash. Mash seems cool. Help me out. And you're just like, nope. You gotta cross that bridge yourself. It's not gonna fucking work. We want to start a conversation where I'm gonna hang out with Mash and you're gonna be there. You're gonna be a third wheel, and Jufu's like, you're gonna third wheel me in your own fantasy, and it's just like, I mean, not intentionally, but yes. Mash is probably the single person we are closest to canonically in Chaldea because, we kind of do everything together where possible. Hey, by the way, spoilers for the upcoming Ordeal Call again, but also, this is the first Ordeal Call we get to do canonically with Mash.
Oh, rad. Oh,
Yeah.
Also, this is something I forgot. I am curious to see what the fuck Kazura is up to. She's out there giving fucking stamps?
Yeah. It's weird, because, like, on the one hand, yes, Kazura drop, double Satan. BB Dubai, regular Satan. Well, X1 Satan. Kazura drop, she's a double Satan. But also, how do I phrase this? Kazura drop is, I think, the Sakura 5 member who is the most antagonistic to BB, normally. So, like, it might be part of the setup, or it might be an enemy of my enemy thing, or it might just be her double secret plan to fuck over BB and also fuck everything up later.
I can believe that. I believe she's
Kazura drops a chaos child, okay?
Yeah, I think her plan is to fuck up everybody.
Yeah. So, even having done the pregame, I'm not sure exactly what the fuck she means by the stickers, other than that it will probably, like, wrap back around in the Ordeal Call. But yeah, she shows up a couple of times to very sinisterly put some stickers on. I do appreciate that she ambushes Karna in his room, and Karna goes straight for the kill. Like, he's just like, wow, who's there? And then Kazura drops just like, hey, whoa, it's just me, BB Lily. I'm not here to hurt you. I have zero killing intent. And Karna observes, yes, indeed. You do, in fact, have no killing intent, so I will put away my spear for now. But yeah, she's just there.
She's just there. Again, like I said, we have a lot of things we have a lot of setup in this event. I still enjoyed it. We still did a bunch of fun things, but I will say this entire event has the shadow of expectation over it, knowing that we're going into Ordeal Call 3 afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and honestly, I am kind of okay with that, because I feel like if it was like well, no, they do show the logo, so it's not a surprise. You do get the big bit at the end, which is just like, hey, and this is where the Ordeal Call part starts. But like, not knowing that it leads up to that, I feel like would be a little disappointing, because like a lot of this is kind of just prologue-y feeling.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot gets resolved. You brought it up earlier. We don't know what the fuck's going on with Aresh. We assume it's got to do with the bridge between Summer Aresh and Space Aresh, whatever the hell that means. But we don't know anything. And nobody actually seems that concerned. Like, even the bits where people like, Karn and some of the others get like, oh, I smell a bestial aura. Oh, I sense an enemy we have to defeat. That still might not be about Space Aresh. I don't know.
Well, I think that's why why they didn't want to take, action on things. Because again,
yes,
we don't know. We don't know what's happening.
Yeah. And why the Hakuna's consultation is so important. But yeah, so it would definitely feel weird without that build-up. And it still feels a little weird even knowing the build-up, because you do kind of feel like it's not a complete through line. It's a series of vignettes, which are very nice. Like, that's what we like out of Summer, is seeing new and old characters in new situations, many funny gags there. Great presentation for everybody who's in the crew, I feel like, I mean, obviously Seal probably gets the least. If I had to feel like there was a character who I felt like got the least characterization in the story itself, it's probably Tenach.
No, I would actually say it's Bartholomew.
Actually, that might be true. That might be Bart.
Like,
Bart skips out a lot.
Like, Tenot's a lot of Tenot's, like, story is her being, like, her inspecting the city and making commentary on the city itself. Also being, horny on maid with the city. Talking about, my priest, if you want to add anything to my city, well, we gotta be careful about the zoning logs, but if you don't tell, I won't. It's like, girl!
Tenochtitlan, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, so I think Tenot...
I don't know, okay? I'm a city spirit giant robot woman, okay? Like, man.
Like, and it's like kind of the same with, like, honestly, I would think Tenot's actually got more than Nikki as well, because Nikki's characterization just seems to be a lot of she does a lot of
That's
it's
true.
Summer
I do
now.
kind of feel like some of it is because I think that the Summer Nikich isn't that far from the regular Nikich. we'll see if we get some more action out of that. But definitely, like, she also feels like a character who steps back. You are correct, though. I actually think the person who got the least was Bart, out of the gang. That's okay. Spoilers for the pregame about to lead. It's finally time for Black Bart to have a mainline, long-running piece in a story.
Oh, okay, that's good. But like, yeah, no, like Percy was very well, he did a lot of exposition, he investigated on his own, he was like in there a lot. Jufu
and I think for Percy,
sorry.
before we move on, I think that's a good point because, like, this is the first time we've had a really big event to spend with the Human Order Percival.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time with LB6's Percival, but he was technically his own guy. So this is our first opportunity to spend a lot of time with normal Chaldea Percival, which is good.
No, like, Karna got a few good scenes in too, you know, like at the buffet, you know, Percy making him overeat, at the souk, you know, hang out with Duradanya, you know, getting, you know, the glasses and getting the, you know, the hood. Karna got like a lot of screen time, even if he didn't like necessarily do a lot. Bart just seemed to be kind of there a lot of times. He did have a couple good suggestions, but not to the extent that, you know, others did.
And Bart was the character, I think, who did the most of the skipping out. Not like ducking responsibility, but being like, all right, you guys are going to do this. I'm going to go off and get on a boat. You know, I'm going to go off and do this. No, I'm not going to camel race because, you know, there's no water here. I prefer to be on boats. Oh, Black Bart, do you know anything about haggling? No, I don't really haggle to buy things. I hold people up. Like he had a lot of, like, saying it like excuses feels weird, but he did have a lot of excuses to not engage with the story as much.
No. So,
but yeah, the writing is like we said, very spaced out, and it's again, I don't know how they decided how to split up these banners, because like I think Nikich and Jufu is the first one is probably right, but like it does feel a little weird to have the back end and then, you know, you gotta wait a little bit for Tenoch and
I am still laughing about, you know, 5-star. I'm getting the notification of 5-star BB.
Yeah, I wonder if that trick made anybody feel foolish. Because it's the other one.
Yeah, it's actual Summer BB.
Well, it's interesting you say that, Rowan. We'll come back, put a pin in that one. We'll come back to that. But yes, the event ends with we get to 3 9s and an 8, almost
9,998.
Then we got to do the final thing. The barrier disappears. BB Dubai comes down to invite us to an exhibition match with a huge crowd watching, you know, which is another production value thing. There's like animated backgrounds with like the fountains and the fireworks and stuff. Like not quite a full-blown cutscene, but definitely doing some animated background stuff. And then we succeed and we fill up the joy counter and everybody standing around us is super happy. They're also super white all of a sudden. Anyway, don't know if that means anything. I guess we'll see if it matters later. And then things get creepy. First of all, we remove the cap from the joy counter and reveal there's actually a shitload more numbers.
Yep.
It's a lot more joy than we thought, so there's like a lot of joy. But we're told that now that we've maxed out our joy, we've done everything we needed to do, which means humanity can go extinct. Huh?
What?
What do you mean by that? I mean, I think it's one of those things where, like, I think I understand what you mean by that, but also, why would you say that to me?
Like, right now, all this time, why are you ruining my day?
Yeah. Yeah, it's BB.
Yeah.
The BB
then they, you know, try to crush us underfoot just by, you know, trying to give us a hug?
Yeah, they try and embrace us. A couple of our side characters are swept up.
Yep. And we have to retreat to the tower, because it's the only way out.
Yeah, when the joy readings go off the chart, Eresh collapses.
Yep.
Which is probably not good. And then, you know, we go up the elevator to the top to the observatory. We enter BB's secret BB room of evil.
We realize that we're not on Earth, because as we ride the tower up, we see we're on the moon!
Motherfucking moon. We also see some extra features on the map that we didn't get to see before. There's a big-ass crater in the desert, I think. And
this was something they talked about earlier, that anyone who goes out into the desert just ends up back at the city somehow.
Yeah.
That was another one of the weird things about the location.
That one, I think everybody kind of, like, just chalked up to like, well, that could be nothing. It could just be like a bounded field type thing because we're, visiting a different time.
Mm-hmm. But nay, it's because there's a desert on the moon, and BB's up there being smug little shit as always. I still love her, but she's being a smug little shit.
Yes,
and
she
saying,
it's not the year 2030, it's the year 3019.
Like, excuse.
And now that we've fulfilled all the joy of humanity, we get to vote on how on what happens next. And she's planning on extincting all of us.
Gasp. Roll the stinger!
We do get at least one line also about, like, the stinger kicks in, but also we do get one line in about, like, you're not my normal BB, are you? And she's just like, no, don't worry about it. I'm definitely an AI made by humanity to help. I'm here to help you die. She needs a giant
I knew there was something different about you, I say, staring at her chest.
Yeah, not looking at her eyes. I knew there was something different here. Then she just blocks your eye with one of them. Just smacks you right in the face. Ah, my neck!
No, but again, we got the stinger, which personally I always loved. I really liked the one from Seraph, and so I was like, yes, they did it again. It's one of the reasons why I made the side-by-side comparison.
Yeah.
It was like,
no, it's a pretty good one. And then we go to the Bleached Earth where the Ordeal Call appears, and this I also love, because it's not on the Bleached Earth. We get the Bleached Moon. They added a motherfucking moon to the Bleached Earth.
No, it's so great. I love it. I wonder if we'll get quests up there later.
Well, there are free quests for this, so that will at least be the touch point to get into Ordeal Call 3. I don't know if we'll actually be able to click it for individual Bleached Earth quests.
True.
Probably
sure. Not. We probably can't rotate it.
It probably is the just the portal to OC3. But yeah, no, like it's a great section.
Oh, I hope the moon doesn't get deleted.
I mean, when we resolve it, it might get schlurboed.
No.
I know there's like it does like after the time limit is up go to main interlude access. But I guess we'll see exactly how that shakes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it puts us in a really interesting place. Chat did bring this up earlier, that it's very interesting that we are technically starting a main story event with a pretty large team. Because, again, spoilers for the pregame we're probably going to filter into shortly, but the supporting cast you've met who stuck with you in this event is, for the most part, the supporting cast in the Ordeal Call.
If the CM is any indicating, we might get more people as well showing up.
There should be another couple of characters, yes, but yeah, the major through line of our support is the people you've already seen. So do we have anything else to say about the Celeb Summer event?
No, like, it was short, it was sweet, it did not overstay its welcome, but it was most definitely a prologue. I think that's all I can really say on it.
A sleek layup. All right. Well, then, we are about to do the pregame. This will be your big boy spoiler warnerino. Take a break now, and let's, in real life, take an intermission real quick.
Yeah.
All right. I hope everybody had a good intermission. You got up, walked around, drank some water, took your vitamins. All right. We are now entering the pregame. This is news story chapter time, so remember to be aware of spoilers, because otherwise we're going straight into it. So, Ordeal Call 3, Archetype Inception, will be a total of 22 sections, plus some interlude asides. 4 of them, I believe. And it is divided into 3 drops. They are spaced out about a week apart. Our first drop is section 1 through 9. And like I said, I have written all of this out to section 22, but I have made sure to, in the notes, delineate the breaks when the sections end. So I will call those out for if you're wondering about keeping track. At 22 sections, I think this one's kind of in the median space, I want to say, for a story chapter. Kind of the medium long. I mean, it is written directly by Mr. Nasu himself. Now, for completing this story, you will get a total of 25 Saint Quartz, 2 Grails, numerous EXPs, mats, and pure prisms. I do say numerous because, well, I could have counted them all up. It is technically different each one. Some are like 5, some are like 3. You will get a simple costume for Passion Lip out of this, as well as 1 Polar Star. You will add Moon Cancer to extra 1. At the end of this event, you will pick 1 free either male or female Hakuno. Additional copies will be in the gacha. You can access the other one via an unlocked quest added later. So we do get a welfare out of the summer, just way at the end. Also, if you want to unlock BB Dubai's last 2 ascensions, you need to clear this chapter. And as a reminder, each story pip is also a St. Quartz frag, so you will get a lot of those. We love to see them. Oh, I wrote the wrong digit in my notes, but I caught it this time, so I'll fix it. So, again, reminding you, since it has now been, at least raw recording time, about, an hour 45. Don't know what the edited compression will be like. But it is time limited. This is a time-limited story chapter. You will have until 9:30 to clear it, and it will be added back to main interlude. Should be early next year, if you didn't finish it. My next line is saying that there are free quests as well, of which there are 15, so there's 15 more St. Quartz there. I am assuming that if you complete the event in the time-limited time, you get access to the free quests. Because otherwise, that would be a little silly. How will we farm our 2 new mats? That's right, new story chapter. That means 2 new mats.
Great.
We've got universe cubes and also moonstones, name pending. But you will recognize them very easily. The universe cube is a cube. It's blue. They're blue cubes. And the moonstone is a rock shaped like the moon. Everybody got that? Okay. So, cubes are dropped by our new enforcer enemy, who are, in fact, those suited fuckers we saw at the end of the summer event. Those guys are the new mob type. Yes, they are just men in suits. They come in a few colors and classes, mostly assassin, but you may see them in stuff like caster, lancer, etc. Mostly bronzes, got a couple silvers. And the moonstones come from a new boss or mid-boss type enemy, worms. Giant worms. They come in robot and sand variety. They are also mostly assassins, though there will be a few other ones as well. Yeah, there's giant sand worms. And that might technically be the version of the mob who's added to the Bleached Earth, but I think he's out there somewhere. In terms of other classes, you're going to have to fight some moon cancers, obviously. This is the Moon Cancer Ordeal Call. There will be moon cancers in it. Get your rulers ready. Summer Martha going to be out here throwing hands. She's going to be like, you thought you could get away from me by not inviting me to the summer event? No. Reloads fists. But you also are going to run into archers, casters, berserkers, lancers, and a few other classes. I will call out a few as they come up in the various chapters. Being an Ordeal Call, HP values will be a little spicy, but not too spicy for the most part. Expect bosses with break bars to usually have between 100 and 300k per HP bar. More if I will note it down. Mobs can be somewhere between like 20k and 70k. There are going to be a few mobs who are definitely like still mobs, or possibly you might say like weak servant bosses. But they're going to be like, have 20k HP, but in like a couple of break bars, and some will be a little higher than that as well. So we're playing around with the HP and stuff. There is not really a system like Ordeal Call 2 to kind of like seemingly handicap you. More it's just like the fights are the fights, and we'll figure it out if we figure it out. The way they get around this mostly is by forced story picks, because you do have a lot of support NPCs. Expect to have to put MASH in the front row a lot again.
Okay.
Along with usually at least one support NPC, or we do a lot of yours or the NPC version of major NPCs. So, like, if you have the Summer Servants, if you have your own Karna, Black Bart, etc., you'll be able to use them in the slots. Or use an NPC version if you don't, or don't want to for some reason. Maybe you rolled Karna right now on the Summer Mail banner. I don't know your life. But yes, that's one of the primary factors, and the other factor is occasionally making you drop 1 or 2 slots from your party comp. Instead of, the full 6, you'll have 5 or 4. So do more with less kind of a thing, but not crazy stuff. So, like I said, we're going to run you through at least the first 9 sections, see how far that gets us. We can probably do all of them tonight, though. But that's at least where I wanted to, when I was writing this, I wanted to put a note here it'll go through. So, we're going to start running through section by section. So, again, those of you who do not want specific spoilers about fights, you can check out here. But I hope you stick around, if only because it's so incredibly funny. I have to mention, literally, section 1, we start off, you have a fake fight with BB Dubai where she beats your ass, mandatory loss. All 6 slots are filled with support servants, and the fight ends when you lose. So, remember the part where we said She hasn't kicked our butts yet. Yeah, it's gonna happen right away, guys. Literally right away. Then you get introduced to kind of the system. You have to take some combination of Bart, Mash, and +1 Servant. You have 1 slot free. Defeat some mobs. Section 2 starts with a 311k Saber with a passive defense buff, and gets more defense buffs by siphoning buffs off of his 3 Berserker ads. So kill ads and then pop the boss. This is still Mash and Bart +1. Limited slots. Now, Section 2, Pip 2, is a weird one. So the boss is a Moon Cancer, right? 113, 135, 162k HP. The enemy will get mad buffs based on how many skills, Servant and Master skills, aren't on cooldown or sealed. So if you end your first turn and use literally no Servant skills or Master skills, they will get literally 15 different buffs. None of which you will like.
Oh god.
Conversely, if you manage to use literally all your skills, including Master skills in the first turn, they will get no buffs. So it's a pretty interesting one. So keep that in mind when fighting them. Also, very funny, you do still only get +1 free slot here. They are Moon Cancer, right? So your first instinct is to use rulers. Well, guess what? If you use a ruler, they will be stunned for 5 turns. Unless specifically you use Vanilla Jean. If you use regular Jean, she just says nah and gets buffed instead. She ditches the stun and gets 30% attack up.
I got it.
So use John if you got it.
I totally
I'm gonna do that too. That's I just want to see it.
That sounds amazing.
No. And that's another thing. There are a couple of these weird, funny, interactions. Again, they seem to have mostly balanced this around the idea that you will have fewer slots so you can build fewer, super cracked comps, and encouraging you to utilize the story-appropriate units, with the usual story buffs. You can probably still go ham and brute force everything, but there's opportunities to do some funny. Now, when we get to Section 3, this includes first a bit of a test run for BB Cosmo. For my own notes, we will be differentiating. BB Dubai, bad one. BB Cosmo, good one. I don't know if that's literally how the playable unit's going to line up, but Astronaut BB is the one who is usually your bud, and then BB Dubai is the one you're going to have to punch.
Okay.
But yes, you get a little... Section 3 starts a little test run for her. She shows up to give you, as a support servant, to let you crack some mobs. But when we get to Pip 3, we get introduced to the Metal Worm. They are an assassin boss with 138, 151, and 165k HP. You will be forced to use BB Cosmo and Space Aresh on support. The boss will pierce defense and will eventually add Pierce Invul to this mix, as well as buff its own damage and offer debuffs like defense down and burn. And if you use BB Cosmo and Space Aresh, you will get buffs. Section 4, move on. We got another worm run. You only have 4 slots for this, and you have to do 227, 260, 294k HP, but basically the same mechanics. That's not the tricky one. I did, though, just want to mention it because it's kind of rehashing the Assassin Worm, but with fewer story support buffs and more HP. The real kicker is the end of Section 4, the final Pip. There's an Avenger boss with 600k HP. If you reach turn 13, you lose.
Okay.
The enemy has a timer buff. If it ticks down to 13, you're dead. You're dead, Spider-Man. There are ads in the fight who can also choose to use skills to advance the timer. One of which I literally think is I lost count of the timer. However, you only need to kill the boss to win. So just, can you do 600k damage in 13-ish turns to an Avenger? Section 5 only has one fight, but it's an interesting one because you have to one-turn kill some casters with 80k HP. You have to have Mash and Bart on the line. Bart does get buffs, but yes, you literally must one-turn kill. If you do not kill the enemies in a single turn, once again, instant death, you lose, game over. You fail the quest. So, speed check. Now, Section 6 is kind of a mess. There's a lot of fights in here which have some mechanics. So, first, we're going to check in. You've got to use Mash and Lip against a caster with 190k HP and a couple of riders with about 120k HP. The enemies will throw buffs or debuffs like Terror, Poison, etc. out regularly. However, once you take down both the riders, the caster boss gets minus 30% defense and is stunned. I did not see a expiration date on the stun, so it's one of those fights where basically it's over if you just beat up the ads. Pip 2, fake fight. Last 5 turns or die against a Moon Cancer boss. Not even live. It's just either get him or don't. Now, Pip 5 is our return to the fight. Sounds annoying. Mandatory Passion Lip. She gets buffs. You must use your ally Passion Lip. The boss is a rider with 400k HP. Every 2 turns, he stuns you. You only get 5 slots total, including Lip. If Hans is in your party, he gives you buffs and then runs the fuck away. Unless you have no backline, in which case, he dies. Yes. And I do believe this is NPC or your Hans selection. But if you put Hans in the front row, he gives the whole team big buffs, then he gets the fuck out of there. If you don't have any back row for him to switch with, he expires instantly. However, the boss will give himself an enormous 15k damage cut for 3 times.
Oh, Jesus.
An unremovable 30% guts. And then when the guts triggers, he will get 100% special damage resistance for 1 turn, so 100% damage resistance, remove all debuffs, and becomes specifically immune to NP seal and charges NP to max. So you have to get through not just 400k, but you gotta go to the mat and actually do this, and he'll probably get at least 1 revenge NP, which is why you can have some backliners. The guts, I also, unless I note it as removable, these gutses are not removable. They've learned. But the Pip ends with another Moon Cancer boss returning to that front. 233, 269, 327k HP across those 3 bars. You must use Summer Nikki, Mash, and either Percy or Lip in the front row. Nikic gains class advantage against Moon Cancers for the fight, so consider using that one. First bar, the enemy gets 30% crit up, but can't NP. This is like on their first bar before you break anything. Break bar number 1, they'll charge their NP to max and unseal it, and they get +1 NP charge per turn and NP damage up 3 times. So they will automatically NP, and it will be nasty. Last bar, we charge NP to max again, and also we give ourselves a buff where we get +1 action each turn. And also, every time they hit you, the boss will give you 10% defense down and remove your newest buff. So, you'll be ready for some bullying. No, like, the HP values don't get crazy cranked, but some of these fights have some nasty side effects in them. Like, this is an Ordeal Call that is asking you, hey, you know how to live an NP turn, right? You know how to dodge enemy NPs, right? But after all that, we get to Section 7. I think I'm not going to like Section 7 because we're going to bring back some of Tenok's worst mechanics from LB7. The first fight is fake, either break 1 bar or live 5 turns, but it does show you the mechanics. So, Tenok is in her Summer Moon Cancer form. She gets bonus damage versus evil and stunned enemies, and every other turn she stuns everybody who's in a Spaceflight Servant. Now, what the fuck are Spaceflight capable?
I have seen this tag.
Yes. It is a trait that's out there. There are a couple of interactions with it. I believe Voyager, I think, has a positive buff for it.
Let's pull it up. Let me see here. Who is Spaceflight capable?
But I will check the trait, because it is a few. It's kind of what you expect, but it is odd that it is only in a few specific ascensions sometimes. So, 3rd Ascension commas, for instance, both count. MHX, XX, XXA, etc. counts. 3rd Ascension of a lot of the foreigners count, so Abigail, Mole, Van Gogh, Abby, Yang, Hokusai, etc. 3rd Ascension regular Lancer Melusine counts, so when she's dragon. Interestingly enough, regular Ishtar and Space Ishtar both count. Space Aresh counts. And a couple of our other foreigners, like Kukulkan and Wanajina. Amazona's CEO costume counts. Ogida Soji, and then I think most of the rest of the other units are ones who aren't out yet. Oh, Voyager also, obviously, is a foreigner. Like, in future, higher level ascensions of, like, 5-star Liz will count. Demeter will count in future, for instance. Typhon will count. Forms and costumes of you, Olga. But yeah, so keep that one in mind. Funnily enough, none of those people are rulers. So yeah, let's have fun with that one. But yes, she will do that, like I said, every other turn, and if you are stunned or evil, she gets bonus damage versus you. In the real fight, Seal Sensei will show up to bail you out with buffs. Mandatory pick. The actual fight has 203, 231, 292k HP. After bar number 1, Tenok will make the battlefield waterside and resets the buff every time it goes away. So basically 3 turns, she automatically makes it water again. While the field is on water, she gets plus 30% crit damage, or crit chance, and then removes 1 buff while attacking. Battle ends after 2 bars, though, so you don't have to do the 3rd one. Yes, no, Univer Eats can go anywhere. Honestly, that may be my pick, because I've got that costume and I've got a pence. That'll be very funny. So, Section 7 was that one. We move on to Section 8. We have to kill another worm. This time you get BB Cosmo and Seal. 219, 284 KHP. Similar mechanics to the last time you fought a worm. I kind of feel like the worm as like a big meaty, boss type mob is the way that they like to introduce lots of characters. But also later in that section, you will have to fight a series of bosses with a Lancer, Saber, and Archer who will have some buffs, such as starting with evades, getting chances to up their own defense. They might remove defensive debuffs or remove your latest buff randomly with a skill proc. Each of them has approximately 180k HP. I think one is like 175, one's like 180, one's like 185. They are extra attack only, though, so not too nasty. And like I said, Section 9 feels like a weird place to cut it, because first in Pip 9, Pip 1 of Section 9, you have to fight a bunch of servants who are all randomly moon cancers. They have between 100 and 200k HP. They all get a mandatory debuff of 75% NP damage down, which is good because, like, every single one of these motherfuckers is going to fire their NP the first turn they arrive on the battlefield. Like, every single time they're going to show up and fire NP, and it's a lot of AoE NPs, but they do have 75% damage down, so you'll just have to tank it. But then Pip 3 ends with a fight where you mandatorily have to take Mash and Lip and beat the shit out of Archer and Berserker mobs, but like I said, it doesn't really seem like a big conflict ender, so I'm interested to see why that shows up. But that's our first 9 sections. And the first interlude. I didn't mention it because it's a story-only Pip. But this takes us to our first intermission. Everybody good? Need some water? Having fun?
I kind of want to just pause there and maybe do the fucking pregame as we go. We are gonna, like, I'm thinking about it. We are gonna be, like, pausing every week. I think I, like, personally would like the pregame to, like, go by section.
That's okay. That's why I wrote it this way.
Yeah.
We can take a break if we want. That's your first
No, I'm
bit.
like, no, the more I'm thinking about it, it's all like, people aren't going to remember this shit in like 3 weeks.
No, and I will say the first one is pretty dense. The middle bit is the shortest. I will let you know now. Next time we do this, that'll be section 10 to 14. There will be 1 interlude in there, so it's the smallest bit. So we can chew on that one next week and see, though there are still at least some decently complex fights. The last one is the longest and also is the most fights.
Also, when does Archetype Inception drop? What day?
Inception drops? Actually, that's right. I'm going to double check it. It was... Is it 7:30 technically? As in the day, 7/30. There's a reason why I posted the schedule cutout in Patreon chat. There it is. So... Okay, no, it technically starts the 29th, so it starts Wednesday.
Omega, do you think me and you can push hard enough to get through all the 9 sections and write our stuff down before the show?
I do not know, because like I said, that's my jury duty day, so I really don't know. If I get selected for jury duty, I'll be in for who knows how many days. So no, taking a break ski to be sure, we'll have to see. Because we do seem to be on a rotation where new drops will be on a Wednesday and then the show's on the Friday. But we'll have time to figure that out next week.
Yeah.
But with that, we'll take a stopper there. I'll leave my notes at that position. Because as I said, it is all written out ahead of time, but I structured it so that breaks could be taken. Will, hop on down. That means it's time for What's Up. First, I'll bring this up, even though I added it last, I will mention it first, because we talked about it earlier. I did put in my notes that FanFest is tonight, and by the time you're listening to this, in public, if you're not watching it live right now, it probably will have happened. Like, when this goes up on YouTube, it'll already be over. Well, the FanFest won't be over, but the keynote and the live letter will have already happened, and I don't know if they've got any other big announcements planned. The rest of the time will probably just be hanging out, being cool guys.
They have panels and whatnot, so they'll be talking about things here and there. They'll spread out some of the more stuff out there. But nope, like I said, we are about 6 hours away, maybe a little under.
Something like that. Actually, did we?
They have posted the schedule.
Okay, now the time just tells me what the local time it would for me. It does not count down exactly. So yeah, we're like 5.5-ish technically. Yeah, something like that. was going to say I can do basic arithmetic, that's the joke. But let's run through a few other things that may have been happening in the week.
Yeah!
Well, I just did a big long pregame, so in addition to the FanFest stuff, anything going on with you, Lucky, you want to bring up?
No. I've been doing something, like I said, I made bread from scratch. That was fun.
It's true.
I've been making jokes about it. Yep.
Looks like bread.
It looks like bread. Like I said, I got yeast, I got the flour, I used the salt, the sugar, the milk, the butter. It was good. It was fun. Like I said, I started this endeavor because, like I said, store-bought bread usually has a lot of preservatives and additives. I'm all like, I don't need that in my life. So, trying that. Let's see, I'm still playing KCD. I talked a little bit about this on 14 before I ate too much and had to retire. I ate a whole bag of fucking chicken. I shouldn't have done that.
That's
it
true,
looked. It didn't look.
That's also, Lucky, because you left, you don't know our secret, but it was good of you to pull out. We did a cheeky daily alliance roulette, and we got Copy Factory.
Yes, excellent.
So, not the worst it could have been, but that stream did go like an extra 20 or 30 minutes.
but KCD definitely has its issues. Like I said, I'm running around meeting bandits and fucking plate mail who are, master swordsmen. I'm just all like, this doesn't seem right. I do think that the story is trying to explain it a little bit, that they might be, hired mercenaries and, being given equipment paid with, like, counterfeit coin. But still, I'm like, man, I'm just trying to get through this game. Why am I fighting, the fucking Knights of the Round Table out here? Fuck.
They dance where they're able.
So, I think you saw a comment about the game earlier that I do agree with. Kingdom Come Deliverance is fun until it ain't.
Seems like a good descriptor.
Yeah. Like, I'm still enjoying it, but like I said, like, the constant game crashes, I don't remember what day it was in the past couple days, but I will swear on whatever fertility goddess you want me to that the game crashed 4 times in one day, and I'm just like, ugh! And like I said, the inability to save when you need to, sucks.
Yeah, we've talked about this, about like how this design seems very inspired by certain Bethesda RPGs, but also is deliberately kind of like trying to stand alone on its own. Like, it's trying to do things that are deliberately different. It kind of feels like, some of the stuff with like, well, enemies also level scale in like Skyrim, but like you have enemies level scale, so you can't just out level the game. But then also the saving feels like it's kind of like an anti-save scumming thing.
It definitely is. Like, I mentioned this, I checked on Nexus Mods to see what, like, the top mods, and their number one, bar none, was just unlimited saving. So it was just all like, yeah, no, people didn't like this. Second one was giving you the bow reticule so you can aim better. And the third was just the cheat mod, add console commands. So all those people out there who are like, oh yeah, I did this no problem, some of you are liars. I don't know what percentage of you are liars, some of you are fucking liars.
So you are dirty cheatsters.
Dirty cheatsters.
But no, like I said, I think the cheat mod not being number one says a lot, because that means that, like, an extra dose of people are like, no, I'd really like to unlimitedly save.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for save scumming, though people do also, like, in RPGs like this, people do like to save scum. But also, I think it's just, you've brought up before how it's kind of annoying that you have to use, certain items and can only save at certain times, and then also, it keeps fucking crashing.
Yeah. No, like, combat, like, again, like I've talked about this, combat is hard. You can run away. I have successfully run away. I figured out, there is this, quest I was having trouble with. It's called Nest of Vipers. You're supposed to sneak into a camp, get information, and maybe poison and sabotage it. It is horribly designed, and, a lot of people just say, oh yeah, no, yeah, I did it easy. I just used insert cheese strat here. No problem. I'm just like, okay, but you're not supposed to use cheese strats. Like, if you use a cheese strat, I feel like you're not actually engaging with the game. You're just, trying to break it over your back. Fun fact, Lucky had to use a cheese strat. I actually figured out a cheese strat on accident. I found out that if I just run around real fast, the guys chasing me can't keep up, and I can just go poison all the food and burn all the arrows, and they can't fucking stop me. No, insert the Benny Hill thing. That was exactly how I did that quest. I just ran around real fast, poisoned all the food, burned all the torches, and they're just chasing after me. Then I just ran away, called my horse, and just galloped out of there. And they still ate the fucking food, idiots.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those quests that is like, yeah, no, you can't say the quest is easy peasy because you're cheesing it, because that is clearly a failure of game design.
No, I do know
Something
there's
has
some people
clearly
who
gone
actually,
wrong.
who have clearly like said, oh yeah, no, I totally like stealth killed all of them. I'm like, no, I don't think you did, because, I do believe there's like some RNG factor in the guard placement, and there are guards that will just, stare motherfuckingly at like one spot all night, not go to sleep. They're all like, oh yeah, go at night, the guards be asleep. I'm like, I see no guards asleep. All of them are up. I'm just all like, you either did something or RNG blessed you with its favor that day. But like I said, like overall though, I do like the story. The story is very good. The writing is great. Characterization is it's pretty good. Like you are literally going from like, you went from like this blacksmith's son, now you're kind of like this feudal investigator and a local hero. You got revenge on one of your targets, and it's like such a stark difference from when you first met the guy. Basically at the beginning of the game, you meet a guy, he like kicks your ass, almost leaves you for dead, but someone saves you, and then you meet him up and you just show off like your masterful skill with the weapon. You changed so much that the guy didn't even recognize you at the beginning. You're just like, oh. The only thing that could have made it better if the church was on fire when we fought.
Damn.
No, but, no, so like, I'm still getting in there, cause like I said, I do like the game. The combat, while iffy, is still fun. There's a lot of things I can bitch about about the combat. There's like supposedly supposed to be a combo system in the game where, you swing in certain directions and you can pull off a special move at the end. The problem is that if you don't actually connect with your opponent, you can't fucking do it. They have to like normal block it or you have to hit them. Fun fact, enemies will back the fuck up and you'll just hit empty air. Like, and if you like go for a clinch and kick them away, you'll kick them out of your attack range so you can't actually follow up with a strike. I'm just like, alright guys, we could have been a little bit tighter on this.
Yeah, no, that goes back to the conversation of where I think this started, like bringing it up that you tried it out and a couple of people saying that it was a little jank. And you at first were kind of like, oh, it doesn't feel that jank. And then you played some more, and then you're like, nope, this is definitely jank.
Yeah, no, this is definitely jank.
Like they've got a good core, which I think is kind of like how they got to a sequel, but definitely there is some inherent jankiness in it.
There's inherent jankiness and flaws. Like, this is why I've like defaulted to like using an axe. Because it's a strength-based weapon and I can do a lot of weapon on it. But I always go for the headshot because you have a chance to just knock someone out with a head blow. And I'm all like, that's pretty good. That's great. Just you hit someone and you just see them crumple. I'm all like, excellent. They'll get back up in a little bit if you're not careful, but that's one less dude you have to deal with for a while.
No, that seems pretty good.
Like I said, because I can fight, like, I'm kind of okay with, because, like I said, while there are, like, level scaling enemies, like, there are dudes who are, like, in full plate who will, like, try to run your fucking fade. You can still run into a band of peasants who are armed with, like, sharpened sickles and stuff. But you can, you can actually dispatch them fairly well when they don't, use master strikes on you somehow. I think that's the other problem with combos. You have to do combos uninterrupted. By the time I'm swinging, like, for the second or third time, I get master strike, which means they parry and riposte. I'm all like, I can't do combos if you're, stopping me. Stop that.
Sorry, smacked my mic with my elbow. I was just gonna say, yeah, that's another thing that's kind of like, the game designers clearly had some neat ideas, but also, like, did kind of the usual, the usual stuff where, like, they tried to come up with, like, normal difficulty curve stuff and just generally trying to, like, keep up with the player in a way, but because it is kind of like sounds like a kind of like fixed level progression, it just means that, like, yeah, these guys that we talk about end up with, like, extra armor and extra sword training for Master Stroke, and it's just like, okay, so these guys defeat the basic gameplay of the game, but that also means that then I can't do the basic gameplay of the game. Right? Like, it's a thing I've talked about where, like, I think game developers need to get, like, a little less worried about kind of, like, outsmarting the players and kind of, like, keeping ahead of them in some ways. Obviously, like, you need to do a little bit of work to, like, build a difficulty curve, if you are indeed building a difficulty curve, but if you have, leveling and stuff or skills that increase and things that unlock, you probably need to slope that somehow. But definitely there's like some aspects of like game design where I'm just like, okay, game designers, I wish we would kind of get out of this mode. I've talked before about, enemies with attacks that track to the player as just being kind of like, nah, man, just let them dodge. Let them dodge. If they dodge it, okay? Don't magnetic lock on your swings. You don't need to do that. If some guy can post a fucking Twitter or YouTube clip of him perfect dodging a boss, good for fucking him. Unless, a million people can post it doesn't actually matter. Like, I do genuinely think that some video game decisions are made that way, of just, like, the developers are thinking, like, oh, man, I really hope this doesn't go in a clip comp of them dodging every attack the boss has. We have to make it so the boss can land some hits. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't worry. The boss will hit me. So, yeah, like, and I don't know if you said it out right earlier, but talking about enemies who do master strokes is what you mean by guys who are, like, suddenly master swordsmen,
Yeah.
Random like, Joe Blow bandits, knowing one of the secret fencing techniques.
Yeah, like, I have to boss my chops learning this, and like I said, dudes in, like, peasant smocks and straw hats wielding, grandpa's sword can, masterfully parry and strike me, dealing, wounds on me with me in full plate. I'm just like, okay, this doesn't add up.
This doesn't scan.
For all my kvetching about it, though, I do like Kingdom Come Deliverance. Like I said, I'm pretty sure once I beat it, like, I'm probably not going to go for platinum on it because it has some weird-ass trophies on it, and, like, some of them are opposite each other. Like, there's achievements for banging certain women in the game, but there's also a trophy for not banging any women, so I'm just all like, okay, I'm not going to play this game. I like this game. I don't know if I like this game enough to play it multiple times.
Yep. That's an important factor.
Yeah. There's an achievement for not killing anyone. I'm all like, screw that. People need to die. So
I mean, knowing a pacifist run is possible is cute. That's good to hear in a game in this style, but also, no.
So it's like, these banditos are trying to fucking kill my home and rape my women. No, they die.
Insert Dracula flow. I need to kill. The worms are back.
But I do think this will, like, again, this is like one of those things of, like, I basically wanted to play Kingdom Come Deliverance so I can go into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and not feel lost. I know people say you don't have to play the first one, but I always feel like something is lost in translation when you don't. If you have the
opportunity to try, I think it's worth trying. I know there are plenty of instances where people say that, and it is probably true, but it is also, like, you have the opportunity to play the first game to see what the second one, and then go into the second one, with eyes full, heart open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I said that backwards, but who cares?
Who cares? But no, actually, like I said, a lot of my time has been put into playing that. I have been watching a fair amount of anime. I did, we can get to it in a little bit, but I did actually watch Ghost in the Shell. I watched all 3 episodes that are out now, so we can talk about that later. No, Lucky has not watched Smoking Cat. Even though I do think its opening is phenomenal and the animation can be pretty good, Lucky is not a fan of toilet humor. I just don't like gross humor. I do not. And unfortunately, Smoking Cat is just full of it, so I'm not watching it.
Yeah, I don't think I have a lot of interest in that show. I've seen some screens, but I've heard people mostly talking about it like being like a very, like, it has a humorous tone, but it's very upfront and kind of grody about, smoking. And I'm like, nah. Never smoked a day in my life. I'm good. Actually,
No.
Cigarette smoke super agitates my allergies.
Nah. Lucky used to smoke. I don't anymore, but I still have smoker friends. And even like some of my smoker friends are just like, no, this is actually just disgusting. So, no. If you can watch it and get enjoyment out of it, that's fine. Don't try to sell it to me. Let's see here. What else have I been watching, though? My stepmother and stepsister are not wicked. That's on Amazon Prime along with Ghost in the Shell. That's pretty good. Very heartwarming. Very good. Will cleanse your soul. I guarantee it. I know I've talked about that one before. On Crunchyroll, I am watching Darasan of the Reiwa, which is what I would call a horror comedy. I think I've talked about it at length before. Maybe not, but it's basically, an author took the legend of Kon Dara, which is the priestess that gets, half swallowed by a snake and fuses together, into a horror comedy in which, said priestess becomes friend with a couple of kids and becomes, like, their new, like, big sister aunt figure. It's quite interesting.
Large snake woman anime, yes.
Yes.
I've seen some of this on the Twitter.
Well, I find most interesting about this is actually they've had to actually cut a lot out of the anime to fit the adaptation. There's a lot of scenes of that are not missing that might, explain some things of like how Dara Sense gets some information, why she has a house in the middle of the spirit world and other such things. But this is one of those things of what I've talked about, that the author is very heavy on exposition and explanations in the manga. And so they must have had to want to cut those out so they can actually move the story forward. Which, when I look at that, I make the face and I go, fair.
Yeah, that's always an interesting adaptation. That's something that I think that, mentioning it, I don't want to cut you off even more anime to mention, but like that's something that about the Ghost in the Shell adaptation that's interesting is that like they do include some of Shiro-san's footnotes as like flash subtitles.
Yeah.
Like they just briefly throw them up on screen. Some of them are very fast.
Yeah.
So like
not
it
all
has
of them are
kind of the
translated.
feeling of it, but it's usually not super heavy.
No. Let's see. The other one that I'm really big into right now is the second season of Clevitas came out, which is the dark fantasy anime that makes me feel like I'm watching something from like the 80s and the 90s again. Very good vibes. Like I said, it really hits me in the nostalgia area. I don't think I have anything really to say about it.
Popular juice to be hitting right now.
Nah, it is. There's a lot of other things that I've been watching, but nothing that I necessarily want to like shout out. There's a lot of cute things. Kaiju Girl, super cute. Actually, there's a new episode out. I need to watch it. 100 Kanajo, unhinged as always. Frontier Lord starts with Zero Subject, very good. Oh, this came out last core, but I want to say, Omega, did you ever watch Violent Evergarden?
Yes, I did watch the original anime run.
Yeah. The author of that series made another series, Agent of the Seasons. They did an adaptation of it. It made me fucking cry. It is. I
mean, that doesn't, from the author of Violet Evergarden, that doesn't shock me.
Yeah. But it is very emotional and very deep. And if you want like a serious, heartfelt, and a little funny, it has its comedy in there series, I would recommend it. It's all out. It's 14 seasons. Not 14 seasons, 14 episodes. Jesus, Lucky.
Season is in the name.
Yeah, season is in the name. Yeah, but like I said, I don't think there's anything else I want to like super shout out right now. If people are actually interested in my thoughts on some animes, let me know next week in Mailbag, and I'll try to put something better together. But I do think that Omega probably wants to talk about Ghost in the Shell a little bit, especially as I have actually watched it now.
Yep. Actually, I could have used that, I think, as either segue to either of my points. But since we ended on anime, we'll go to Ghost in the Shell next.
Yeah.
But yes, 3 episodes of Ghost in the Shell are out.
Yeah, we're actually into the Puppet Master arc now, like properly into it.
We're still taking bits and bytes from the pacing of the manga, which was different. Because while we did have the direct front and back half of the trash chase, the bits at like that villa with the guy were like completely left out of the Mamoto Oshii movie.
Yeah.
But yes, we're puppet mastering.
No. And watching the 3 episodes, like I can understand why this major will freak some people out, because I knew this going in, but no, she is an absolute gremlin. Literally, killing a dude in front of, the chief, then showing up at his office the next day being like, I want to put a team together.
Or even that story ends where she makes the Home Affairs Minister punch himself.
Yeah. Well, because, the Home Affairs Minister basically sent her on a test job to a fucking orphanage to see what she would do. And she was just like, yeah, nah, I'm not getting used like this. Fuck you. I'm out. But then, the chief used that to, do his own thing. And I love the thing how Bato comes and is like, yeah, no, I put a bunch of fireworks in his car. And Major's like, shit, Bato! The car blows up and you just see the chief running away on a scooter. And the Major's just like, the fuck, he got me again!
And then, she turns to him full of piss and vinegar, and he's just like, yes. And she's just like, make sure to pay us a lot. Give us lots of vacation days. Okay, bye. No, it's great. No. And it's really interesting, too, because we recently watched Mamoto Oshii's Ghost in the Shell. I know we've been saying that for a couple of weeks, but it is a very stark contrast to see, like, the bits that would become the Major's character that would go into that movie,
mm-hmm.
but also still have kind of her her balance with her much more self-serving gremlin self?
No, like the scene after they put together the body and they're going out for at the cafe where, you know, the Major's, you know, talking about it with her friends and they're just all like, girl, could you be any more frosty right now? And they literally showed us the effect with the snow on them and stuff.
Yeah,
and, like,
they basically call Motoko a vibe terrorist.
Yeah. Like, you know, she's having those thoughts, but also she wants to get fucking paid. She likes money.
She likes money because she likes having a top-of-the-line body with real freaky-deaky parts. And, like, other bits of that episode are mostly exposition, but they are cushioned in such an interesting way because I think the short-haired one is Kurutan? It's Ran and Kurutan. So. I can never remember which one is which. Maybe this anime will help me with that. But the nurse one is, like, you know, sexily expositing all the extra features they're adding to their other gal pal. They were roommates. Because it's the other two ladies from the lesbian orgy. Or the threesome, anyway. There's only 3 of them in the actual thing. I don't know if that calls for an orgy or not. I don't know what the cap is. But she's the one getting her, you know, prosthetic body tuned up. So they do get to, like, exposit about how prosthetic bodies are formed, you know, using different bits of, like, micro machine foam and stuff for, like, the skin layers, etc. Talking about the haptic sensor density. Mentioning that I think for, like, you know, lips, nose, and genitals, they use a bio-based film. So even if you're full prosthetic, those are at least semi-organic, etc. And, you know, talking about a lot of stuff. There is a little bit of a hint at darker stuff because Motoko is also, like, asking about, well, hey, didn't you guys lose a bunch of bodies at this facility? And being like, oh yeah, we got extra security. Fucking Big Daddy motherfucker with cat dries drawn on him walks by.
Just stare. Also, I feel bad for Togusa. He's had, like, 2 encounters. He got knocked out in fucking both of them. Fucking rookie.
And then even to end it, the Major uses her ghost key to have him non-lethally shoot the guy.
Yeah.
I will also say, while the action was beautiful in that, some great Sakuga of the Major flying around, it is also really interesting to see kind of, like, the Oshi film was very grounded in its action. The art team, like, went out and shot a lot of guns into, like, concrete and other targets to, like, get how it would look for the animation, right?
Yeah.
And I think that Standalone Complex kind of continued that art direction of being more grounded. The original manga, I assume, and definitely Science Siren adapting it, do not give a shit about that. The Major just, you know, puts in a big long mag in her gun and shoots through shitloads of concrete barriers. They don't even make the comment about high velocity ammo for the guy. He just has a weird golden gun that shoots good.
Yeah, actually, if I remember correctly, I don't think any cars actually blew up in that fight.
No, there's like an explosion when they shoot the trash truck and it, like, flips over, but it's mostly intact later. It was a comical explosion.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. I do also, I love the addition of the Fuchikomas. Not only just them balling around and, like, even having that comment about, you know, the tank asks, Major, why are you throwing off my aim? And she's like, you're trying to shoot him in the head, dumbass. Stop that. But then they have a very Fuchikoma Tachikoma meeting in VR space with a drug trip. Great animation. But then they talk about, you know, like, taking over the world and shit, and they're just like, nah.
And then you realize it was a plant by the Major to, you know, to keep an eye on them. Yeah.
Because that's how she be rolling. But yeah, like there's a lot of style in there, but yes, that conversation between the 3 gal pals, somebody did point this out, and I think they're right. That's basically the first conversation the Major has with Bato in the elevator, but I feel like the conversation feels very different, not just because you've seen the 2 preceding episodes about the Major, but also the context of the conversation is very different, right? Like, she literally saw one of her gal pals get a whole new body rebuilt, right, and installed over multiple hours, and, like, got to see every part of that process, and then, you know, is just, like, on a lunch date, and is just kind of, like, brings up, like, yeah, man, what if I'm not even really me? I've never seen my own brain. I could just be, you know, a copy of myself. What the fuck does that mean? And then, like, again, I don't remember if it's Ran or Kurutan, but one of them, you know, calls her a vibe terrorist and basically is just like, what the fuck are you doing? I am not here for this conversation, okay? I'm here to eat brightly colored food, and then we're gonna bang later.
Like, honestly, like, again, like, I've mentioned this several times. While Oshi's film is great in some ways, it is way too heavy on the navel gazing. Way too heavy. It happens out of nowhere. It lasts for so long, and nothing comes of it. We just exposit in a space for like 15 minutes. Bato nods and looks stern, and then we move on.
Yeah, I think it basically, the only purpose it serves in the Oshii film is to set up to understand why the Major, who otherwise does not get a lot of characterization other than those moments of self-introspection, would plug her brain into a weird AI net creature thing. Sorry, not an artificial intelligence. A being birthed forth by the sea of data in the net or some shit.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck his problem was.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it works for what the film's trying to do, but we've talked this before. The film is very stripped down in certain aspects. It is a great film because it is a movie-length runtime that has, great visuals, great acting, and does keep you on the hook. But it is also, like, very striking to think, like we said, about those navel gazings, asking those questions. I think I even said it while we were watching it, where it was like, I have to be careful how I feel about this because, like, this would be a lot of everybody's babby first existential crisis, but having been introduced to the themes of Ghost in the Shell, like, way earlier, it's hard to be as enraptured by the movie now, me as an adult. Because, like, the Major's basically talking about what are literally mechanics in the tabletop game Eclipse Phase, which I first read when I think I was, like, 16 or 17? Like, I ran for the group, in my early college days. Like, Eclipse Phase is a very interesting game, but it literally has the factor of stuff like continuity check. Hey, you're missing some time. You've got a new face. Are you okay with this? Is your brain elastic enough to deal with this question? No? Trauma. Yes? Good job. Thumbs up. No trauma. Eat some comfort, which is antihistamine, antidepressant yogurt. Reduces your stress.
No, but, like, seeing the Major and her gremlin stuff, like, again, I enjoy it. She has desires, she has wants. This is the thing that I felt like was kind of missing from both the Mamoru Oshii film and I would say Standalone Complex as well. The Major just kind of didn't exist outside of work. I mean, in Standalone Complex, they were a little bit better about this, but, like, that's all she was. She was the Major.
Better about it in Second Gig. The Second Gig arc with Kuze, they and the individual 11, they work a lot more into potential backstory to, like, kind of, like, give her more of a through line. But yeah, in the first season, she does get better about it. Like, eventually, she has kind of the it's personal moment. Mm-hmm. But for a lot of that show, the Major is just, like you said, the Major. She's just here to work.
No, in this anime, like, by, like, letting her gremlin this show, she shows, like, a lot more personality. She is, like, she really wants that good paycheck. She wants to take she takes vacation days. She doesn't like putting up a lip from people. Like, God, like, did she, like, I think Bato punches himself twice.
Yes. She makes him punch himself the first time when he accidentally logs on to the lesbian threesome to get him to That
was a great sequence, by the way, of just, like, Motoko falling through the fucking Bato picture.
Yeah, no, that was there are several, like, we've said this before, but Saru is also super cooking. Like, the Oshii film art-wise is, like, phenomenal, kind of like No Notes, but it's also a very distinct feel of the year 1995. The Saru animation is taking the best of modern technology and the vibes of, the 80s manga, and they do some wacky, wild shit with it.
Yeah. But, like I said, Major don't take no lip.
Yeah.
Like when Ichikawa was talking on Finger, he was just like, what? And he was like, never mind.
I'm listening. What did you call me?
No, so, like,
and even, like, talking about that, right? Like, she's much more direct about taking the piss. Like, we talked before about, like, Togusa, right? Like, he gets knocked out, he wakes the fuck up, he rushes into the scene, and then, fires on that guy, and then later the Major is like, hey, I had to ghost hack you because you were going to shoot to kill that guy. And it was like, hey, listen, I had to look out for you. And she's like, oh, were you worried about me? Huh? You concerned about me? Buddy? Little pal?
I love the pose she does when she did that. She has her visor down, but she's leaned over and pointing at herself. Yeah. It was stupid cute.
No.
No, so I like the... No, so it's like, no, I really am vibing with this. I really do like it. Like, I still think that probably Standalone Complex is probably still my definitive experience with it, just from the fact that it's been around for so long and it's been very formative to a lot of my ideas of of the cybernetic future. I am loath to use the word cyberpunk, as Ghost in the Shell isn't always
Ghost in the Shell's not
cyberpunk.
punk at all, unfortunately.
No.
This is probably the closest we get to punk, and it's still not that punk. The Major is still basically a salary woman.
Yeah. But, it does, it has, informed a lot of my, ideas of, the cybernetic and transhuman future. But the Science Sorrow is, I think, an amazing and wonderful adaptation that, is something that I would put, right up next to it.
Yeah.
I still, like I said, Arise 2049 and the films are great in their own ways, but, Shiro has said, everyone can kind of tell their story of the Major. And I feel like those are definitely kind of someone telling their own story of, Ghost in the Shell. So no, I'd probably tell people, watch the Science Sorrow, then watch Standalone Complex, then probably, Solid State Society.
Yeah. That is SAC branded, so it's a good capstone. And what I was going to say was that is, I think, also the one of the big advantages that Standalone Complex has over everything is that it is the most fleshed out because it got the most time to breathe. It's, 2 25 or 26 episode seasons and a movie, in the Standalone Complex. And then, 2045 also is based on Standalone Complex, but they do have an art shift. And there was
it's a bit of an art
quite
shift,
a long
I never
gap
watched
of years.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I do still need to watch the second season.
But the Standalone Complex has a lot of legs because it does have a lot of room to breathe, and it does give a lot of characterization. We've talked about it how, we kind of think of Section 9 as a core trio and then, a handful of supporting characters. Even Science Saru, being based on the original manga, at least the first part of it, definitely feels like the Major, her sidekick, Bato, and, her sidekick, Togusa, and then there are some extra guys.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get nods, you see Saito and Pazu, and occasionally Borma in, the background of the shots, Ishikawa gets slightly more lines than the other guys, but
he also got hacked and knocked the fuck out, so...
Yeah. The Section 9 guys do a lot more jobbing in the original manga.
Yeah, they really do.
Apparently. And also just disappointed see Bato rushing into the bust at the villa with his machine gun. He's
this is my favorite part! Wait, no one's gonna resist?
Everybody gave up? Ah, dang it. No. Great, that's another thing too. This is also kind of a proto form of Bato, because Bato in the movie is also serves basically just to be a foil to the Major. Whenever the Major gets too weird and too flight of fancy, he's just Major, be cool, don't get weird, be cool, we got work to do.
But Bato gets to be a little weird here, and I appreciate it. Bato is best when he's a little weird.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking of some of Richard Edgar's line reads in Standalone Complex, opening the bathroom door and just grabbing that guy by the face. Hi. Or the Yes episode with the assassin with the shotgun arm. When he hacks the robot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned what's in the mind of a dog. Togus is just okay. Freak, he thinks to himself. Do also love Bato loving classic cars.
He likes cars and guns.
And we'll see this Saturday. We're planning on doing Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence to kind of see Mamoru Oshii's V2 crack on that, but I believe that interprets Bato as a dog guy as well.
I can see it. Bato seems in Standalone Complex, he was very friendly with the Tachikomas, so I think it translates well.
No, I think it tracks. Bato is as cars, guns, and dogs. That seems like him.
Yeah.
Cars, guns, and dogs, and he really doesn't want to go back to the jungles of South America. But that is something that I think was kind of added by later expansions, right? Is at this point there is some very deep stuff, some very violent stuff, going on in the Science Star adaptation, even when they have to censor it for Japanese TV. But it still is very kind of jocular and can get kind of light. It can get serious, but then it will, like we said, there's a life or death moment in the market when the Major corners that guy, there's a civilian clinging to her arm. One guy eats a stray bullet, and I think he's dead. I think that guy might be dead.
Oh yeah, no, I love the scene. the guy uses, a coercion, implant to turn, everyone against the major, and then just shoots someone in the back and everyone fucking panics.
Yeah.
Someone clings to the major arms and it like slows down and you're just like, oh shit, what's about to happen?
And then the action set piece ends with Togusa shooting the guy, but then we get, like we said, we get the gag. We will have these serious moments, these darker thoughts, and then we not undercut it, but punctuate it with a punchline,
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know yet if I could imagine this Bato having, like, PTSD from running into a CAA psyop, which is a really good standalone episode in SAC, Jungle Cruise, where he deals with a guy who's, like, being a serial killer, and the CAA is breathing down his neck. Like, like I said, standalone complex gets more time to breathe on its characters and moments, so, like, it does that. I will be interested to see if Science Saru decides to end up adapting later, the 1.5 and volume 2 of the manga, because this is only 10 episodes, right? So, like,
yeah,
they're definitely aiming to not overstay their welcome. They are planning on adapting pretty faithfully the plot arc of the original Ghost in the Shell manga as made by Masamune Shirow, which is not that long. I've mentioned this before, I always forget what the intermediate volume is, but the first sequel Shirow did was basically kind of like an anthology series of just vignettes, which I do believe have more Bato and Togusa in them, more Section 9 beats. Basically the predecessor to standalone episodes from Standalone Complex, but that wasn't as popular as the original manga story arc, so even these days he no longer counts it as, like, part 2, it's, part 1.5, and then Man-Machine Interface is the actual part 2, and that one is all in on the weird shit, like different Motokos talking to each other about stuff, and, like, contacting, Shinto priests and psychic detectives and shit. Like, it's the weird one. So I'm very interested to see if that will also get adapted later, because that is another thing that, like, we do not usually get into with adaptations. But also that is the part that is more likely to make people check out, maybe.
Yeah.
Because, the major discusses, things going on in the world with, 3 or 4 of her mind clone children is like, nah, it's a little trippy. Like, I like it, but also I can understand not wanting to adapt it. So we'll see. But yeah, the new Ghost in the Shell is really, really good, guys. Like, it has very strong vibes, and I agree with you, Lucky. I think that, like, this is shaping up to be, like, a really strong adaptation that's probably, on par with Standalone Complex as, like, you want to get into Ghost in the Shell. Well, you should check out the Science Saru adaptation if you want to follow the, the manga and you want to kind of see some life breathed into these moments. Though I do believe you can, because it's so foundational, you can probably pick up translations of the original Ghost in the Shell pretty easy.
I'm definitely thinking about it.
I think Dark Horse has done some releases actually of it in the correct way round. I will say, I do believe modern versions may or may not have the lesbian threesome in it, because Masamune Shirow's gone back and forth about whether or not he actually cares about it being in it. The Science Saru opted for doing it, but censoring the nudity, but still making it very clear what the fuck is going on. Which I think works. Like, you understand what's going on in this scene, but it still can be played on television. But yeah, Standalone Complex has a lot more time to breathe, so yes. I will say also, though, that I don't know if it's because they have, they get to concentrate the budget throughout episodes, or just the differences in technology between, like, now and, like, I think 2002 or 2003 was the first season of Standalone Complex, but Major's got a lot more fits in Science Saru.
Yeah.
And they're all real good. Her puff jacket from the most recent episode, kind of like that segmented, overcoat. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty rad.
All right. Well, if that is currently the extent of our Science Saruing,
I believe so.
My other bit, which was a little bit of a segue, but works now, was we were talking about video games and, mentioning that, like, you find Kingdom Come Deliverance good, but sometimes it's annoying.
Yeah.
And hey, I'm playing Star Wars Outlaws again. I'm trying to wrap up Outlaws because one of the PlayStation Plus extra games this month was Rise of Ronin, which was another game that, like, came out at an awkward time, and I never got around to trying, and I've been thinking about purchasing and trying, and then I'm just like, well, it's here for free, but it's 100 gigs, so fuck me, I guess. I gotta think about what we're doing. And I wanna try and do a little bit of clearing my plate. I'm pretty bad at clearing my plate. I do have a decent backlog to work through, but there are, more games coming up as well. But I'm like, shit, I gotta take a crack ski at this. So I've been playing Outlaws. So I've gotten to the third planet, Akiva, which is in its own way interesting. Really beautiful aesthetics. They've gone for kind of like, I want to say like a Southeast Asian jungle kind of look.
Okay.
It rains regularly on the planet. It's very green. They've got names like, the Satrap's Promenade and stuff like that. But also, it's kind of an annoying planet because it's not full of big wide open spaces like Toshar or Tatooine. There's a lot of foliage, which has weird collision textures with both your speeder bike and with Kves herself. I have bumped into a whole lot of nothing on this planet sometimes. Like, usually I get over it, but it's very unclear at times what you can and cannot walk through. So it gets a little weird going around corners. The other factor is, pretty immediately you will encounter deep bodies of water on this planet, which I've never tried on foot, but I'm pretty sure Kay can't swim. And your speeder bike cannot go over deep water until you complete some objectives and get an upgrade, get another expert upgrade. This is a little awkward because usually what I would do when I got to a new planet is I would bum around and do all the intel kind of that's close to me until I get to the main quest thing. Mm-hmm. Droid Smith in this case. I had to not do that in this. I had to kind of like, after a little bit of bumming around and doing a little bit of follow-up, there was one expert I unlocked because he was pretty easy, though I did have to leave Akiva to go do it. But I ended up basically like putting everything on hold and then going all the way to the far end of the map up into the mountain foothills to do the quest, which then unlocks the expert intel to get the expert to do the quest to get the hydro repulsor. But I can go on water now. Which does open up a lot more of it because you can kind of cruise around rivers, and there's a big lake on one half of the map you can cruise around on top of, which is like, it's cool, but it was a little weird to be kind of like, you'd run into people giving you intel and like side gigs and stuff, right? And then be like, I can't get to this location. There's a river in my way. I guess I gotta go back to the main quest, kind of a thing. It was odd. Not like bad, but at times it was a little annoying. But now that I have the hydro repulsor, hopefully I can access Akiva in full and keep track with that. One thing that is very good though is I found the last sabak sheet.
Ooh, okay.
So I asked you about this and you did mention it. So we both found the second one. That's on Tatooine. When you unlock the Jawa for the turret, which also shout out to the turret. It's very helpful.
I actually haven't had a chance to use the turret. Does it like auto fire?
Yeah, it's arcadey like everything else. You push circle button and your turret kicks on for a little bit and it shoots at guys. Yeah. But it does shoot 360, so like it will take out guys who are behind you.
Okay.
And you can upgrade it to do more. And you can also set it to be, with upgrades, an ion turret to, disable enemy ships and shields instead of killing them outright. Kind of like stun lock them. But it's about what I expected, but it's pretty good. Like, it did some pretty decent damage. Takes out some guys, which is good, because there's a fucking lot of abilities in this game that you gotta blow up a lot of ships to unlock. I found more, even more. But, if you do the Jawa path, you can unlock the magnetic dice, which if you do it correctly means that you can basically always get a good dice roll if you gotta roll dice. This is nice. This is pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. The third cheat, do you mind me revealing who the expert is, Lucky?
Is it Lando Calrissian?
Yes, you've guessed it. It's Lando.
I figured as much because I've seen some... I think it's like in one of the things, I've seen a picture of him in there.
Nah, Lando's in the game. Yeah, he's the third expert, the high roller. You run into him on Akiva in the basement of a sabak parlor, and then he's like, Hey, my new friend KVS, want to help me out? Go back to... Shit, I've forgotten the snow planet. Kijimi.
Kijimi?
Yes. Go back to Kijimi, win a sabak game here, come back. You do all that. We did talk about it before, but since Hana's in Carbonite, Lando does secretly work for the Rebellion. And
that was about to be my question. It's all like... It was about to be like, Lando, aren't you supposed to be trying to bust your friend out from
Yes,
from Carbonite
he
jail?
is a rebel spy, but is also still Lando Calrissian, which is, I think, appropriate. At one point, I even, after using the cheat he gave me, he invited me to his sabak table as a high roller, and it was just like, Kay is just like, cause you rendezvous with him after you get the thing, which is, the reason why you have to win a sabak game is because that's how he's getting past intel covertly. They give you his lucky shift token. Well, it's actually a space USB stick full of intel. So you got to deliver it to him out in the middle of the jungle where you stumble into a rebel camp, so Kane knows very clearly that he's a rebel. Which I think is interesting because I do feel like it's kind of like important to kind of soften Kay's view of the rebellion. Because she has a couple cracks, I've noticed on Akiva back and forth with other characters about, I think ND5 at one point mentions there's rebel activity in the jungle, and, and he's like, those guys, right? And she's just like, oh yeah, they're real fun. Got lots of stuff to talk with them about, But knowing Lando's involved, I think might serve to soften her opinion. So, but when you do that high roll game, she asks him like, Lando, don't you have better things to do with your other friends? And he's like, I always have time to gamble, baby.
That does sound very Lando.
Yeah. But what he gives you, his secret Sobok technique is, lets you palm a card. Lets you double draw and pocket a card for later.
Ooh.
Once you pocket it, you can swap at any time. You can also, whenever you're discarding, discard your palmed card. This is probably the best cheat because on the one hand, if you don't have a palmed card, if you do already have a card, like a card double drawn, you can't double draw again.
Mm-hmm.
But it means that, first of all, if you're starting the game, you can always go too deep. And the way you avoid getting caught is you keep the card symbol in the center of a sweet spot, and it tries to like automatically drift. It's like Yakuza darts.
Oh, okay.
So I've noticed doing it repeatedly. It can get a little feisty, but it hasn't seemed too hard to keep in position. But like if people at home, if you're wondering, you don't realize like how useful it is. First of all, drawing 2 is always better than drawing 1. That doubles the amount of options you get. First of all, just straight up. Like, you get to pull 2 off the deck and go, okay, which one of these is better for me? But also, like I said, you palm that card, you can keep that forever. It stays even between Sobok rounds. So, like, a couple of times I've, like, had the imposter in my hand, which I'm like, okay, well, I have magnetic dice, so this is okay. Let me draw a card. Another imposter. Let me put that in my pocket for later, in case I need it. So, like, having access to all 3 has definitely let me get pretty deep in a couple of Sobok games since, and I do like it. It does make it feel a little more balanced, along with like unlocking obviously more shift tokens. I think I'm up to like 3 free draws.
Ooh.
Like 2 immunities, so you can get multiples of some of them. So I don't think I have literally everyone unlocked, but I'm slowly building a collection, so it definitely feels more interesting and more balanced when you can, check other people's hands. You can fix dice rolls so they're less random, assuming you pull it off correctly, and then you can double draw for removing RNG. Like it's pretty good. I've been having a better run with Sobok since unlocking those.
Well, this is why people cheat.
It's true. I mean, yeah, it's why you like card count and shit in real life, because you want to control the variables. But in your video game, it's like, okay, making it pure RNG is annoying. I also just had some really lucky runs against Lando. Like at one point in the round, I got dealt like just double 1, and I'm just like, okay, so long as we don't do that thing where we swap the values, I'm okay.
God, I'm still mad about the time when I pulled like the best fucking hand and the guy immediately hit the shift token to you like, no, discard your hand. I'm like,
yeah. Unfortunately, I have to be careful to feel too bad about that because I got a guy with that. I checked his hand and he had the double Psylop, and I had to make him discard. I'm just like, okay, buddy, you need a new hand right now.
Well, like I said, as I noted, there was a dude peeking over. There was a guy sitting on the bench behind me. He totally signaled the other dude I had that hand.
Oh, I honestly, I wouldn't be shocked. Like I said, there have been so many times when I've gotten the what is it, cook the books token, which is the one that inverts the values on me, and I'm just like, you motherfuckers know I'm looking at 2 1s or 2 2s right now, don't you?
Yeah.
The only exception is I actually had a tweet about this because it was so annoying. Before I actually, no, I think I did. No, that's right. I only did the first half. I didn't actually deliver the secrets back to Lando. But I tried Medo's table on Kajimi, and I'm just like, I don't know why, but Medo's just a fucking idiot. They just kept playing the cook the books when they had like a 2 and an imposter, or like a 2 and a 4, and it's like, what are you doing this? You're just fucking me over. The only person you're helping is the guy next to you who has like 2 5s. Are you in coots? I don't know. But yes, Lando unlocks some new cheats, like right out of the gate. And gives you a couple of other interesting upgrades, one of which is improving your hip firing ability. So if you don't aim and you just quick shoot, more damage. He's got a couple of like space maneuvers and a couple of other interesting things. I also think it's interesting he gave me the first normal blaster module, which is heavy, which is lower rate of fire but more damage.
I do like that.
No, I've been trying that for a while, and I think it's it seems pretty alright. You know, you only need a few shots, grab, pick up weapons. It is still a little annoying. You can't, like, keep them or recharge them, though you can get some decently long life out of them through all your upgrades. Unfortunately, there are still even more, like, several upgrades to get more health, which are all annoying of, like, killing guys at low HP and stuff. I think that means that the most, though, if you get them all, like, Kay can have, like, probably, like, 6 or 7 HP pips.
That's interesting.
Which is, like, because there's, the last one is the technician that, Kavas' friend, the droidsmith, introduces her to. Like, he has a it's not called survivor, it's like a third adjective for being tough, but yeah, you can get extra HP. I will say, that guy's pretty interesting because he also has some tech that I need to unlock. One is you can get a gadget so that you can stealth take down droids.
Oh, that'd be so fucking useful, Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's tied to main story progression on one of the planets, which is a little annoying. But yeah, it's there. And also, he can upgrade your smoke bomb to be ionized, so it will stun droids and cameras in the area as well.
That makes sense.
So yeah, no, like there's all the upgrades from all your allies make sense, and I think it does give like a very robust gameplay like grouping, like options. It is a little weird that it is kind of like we're doing the classic, RPG thing of forking into 3 and you got to pick all these 3 guys, and I bet you're going to have a very different experience if you go, one place first versus the other, because you can't really hack the unlocks.
No, I am glad though that they say go to Kajimi first and get Ankh, because I still love her to death.
No, Ankh's great. And I forget his name. It's bad of me, but I've in between playing today, I've wrote a lot of Ordeal Call notes, but start with an M or a G. Kavas' friend though, the droidsmith, because she introduced him. He's a Rhodian. He seems all right. He actually seems like a decent member of the team, unlike the last guy. Looks at dead guy. Trying to steal my fucking space lizard, my space axolotl. But yeah, it is interesting to kind of see every one of the members like individual arcs, because his thing is that Kay finds out he was, he's cooped up in an Imperial lab, doing projects for them, and like his arc seems to be no, Kavas, I'll agree to help you because you've got interesting stuff going on. One of which is Kay literally says, also, I got a B5 commando droid. And he's just like, for real? Factory original parts? And Kay's like, how would I know?
Now Kay has learned to take interest in other people's interest. Excellent.
Yeah, no, like she is growing, but his factor why he won't leave on the job right away is like, no, I've made a mistake, which is why people are mad at me, but I need to fix it before I go. So, like, it is really interesting to see this kind of like, okay, I see what Kay is going to pick up from this arc of, like, learning to actually, like, when you fuck up, acknowledge you fucked up and work to fix it. The arc on Tatooine is, like, I feel like kind of like learning who to trust and when, and learning to, live for something other than just to not die, right? Realizing that's a lonely existence. Kajimi's probably kind of the loosest, because you do get to make some choices, obviously.
The lesson you learn from Kajimi is stop being so fucking uptight about everything.
Yeah, basically. Don't take so many things personal, Kavas.
Life's too short to have a long fuse.
No, yeah, that's true. That's the lesson. Actually, is life is too short to have a long fuse.
Sometimes you just gotta blow it up. As I said, I love Ankh.
Yeah, no, Ankh is a great character. It is really great that she is part of the team, and she actually, has combat barks in space. I don't know if she's responsible for operating the turret, but she likes to yell about it. I'm also pretty sure she may have collateral damaged a couple of Jawas.
I'm pretty sure they have. She did.
Like, there's a very interesting call. I'm also pretty sure that at one point, I'm just imagining on the other end of the comlink, ND5 is just sitting in the chair, turned around, gun leveled at some Jawas in the cockpit, just being like, nope. Did you fucking come any closer?
One step in here, I blast you. Which honestly is the appropriate stance to take with Jawas. This is how you keep your ship from being torn to pieces.
Listen, Jawas respect boundaries. They don't mind if you blow up a couple of them, so long as you firmly establish that they shouldn't take your shit. Otherwise, they will take your shit. Everything is community property until you tell me otherwise. But yeah, like I said, it's interesting to see kind of these moments of like, and it was always very obvious to kind of tell that this was going to be the story of, like, Kay kind of hopefully figuring her shit out. it's not very subtle in it, honestly, to its detriment sometimes. Like, they really hit you over the head in the opening act about how much of a fucking dumbass Kay is. We talked at length about how it did kind of leave a sour taste in both our mouths. It's like, wow, Kay, you are not good at this. But, like, I am kind of curious. Speaking of not replaying games again, I don't think I would replay Outlaws all the way through again, but I am kind of interested to see if, like, doing things in different orders would change things, because, like, now that I'm on Akiva as, like, my last step, like, it does kind of feel like Kay is belting out a few more, like, hey, trust me, I've got this. And, ND5 or Jalen will just be like, well, I only feel like you're half lying to me, kind of a thing. Interesting stuff. Also, by the way, very fucking suspicious of Jalen at this point. Like, he's
too nice. He's too fucking nice.
No, he goes out on a limb extra levels. Like, even though he does not like Kay's plan for a droidsmith, throughout the course of this, you have to, like, talk with a, notoriously dangerous local gangster. How dangerous? He's got his brother frozen in carbonite as his desk.
Oh,
my brother took my eye. I took everything from him. And I'm just like, okay, all right. Psycho criminal. Got it. Don't want to fuck with this guy. But, like, to get him to spill on Kay's friend, you offer him spice. And Jalen's just like, yeah, just offer him some spice. And I'm like, you just floated me, like, 2 cases of spice to this freakazoid for a guy you don't even want on the team? You're weird, Jalen. I don't know if I trust you.
You're fucking weird.
You definitely have an ulterior motive about this guy.
Oh, no, I know he has an ulterior motive. Huh?
I said, are you secretly his brother? I don't know.
He did mention... Oh, wait, no. No,
the villain did mention he had family.
He had family, and he was... Like, I remember the line. My brother would always take things from me. Don't you realize? I'm starving. Oh, my God. If this is fucking the guy's brother here just to fuck over his other brother, again, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm just in the middle of brotherly bullshit.
Don't worry, at least this time, Kay Vess will also be mad. She would absolutely be like, you mean I busted my balls up and down the galaxy recruiting the finest criminals as ever known for a job, and it's just like some family bullshit? Get me the fuck out of here.
Yes, this is brother. May I have some oats?
ND5 crushes balls.
Well, he can't. He has a restraining bolt on him.
I don't know how long that's going to stick around. My new Rodian friend seems very, very interested in the commando droid. ND5 is pretty insistent that, like, he straight up at one point said when Kay's talking about her friend the droidsmith, he's like, Kay Vess, I do not need fixing. And she's just like, okay.
Sure, okay. Senor, I can see your internals.
That's also very interesting to see their relationship play out, because they both have, like, 2 interesting question conversations, which I assume are random, but could have been just timed. At one point, ND5 asks, Kay, can I ask you a question? And Kay's just like, okay, sure. You got any family? And Kay's just like, no, I don't want to talk about that. And then ND5 ends with, so I may not ask you a question. Got it. But at a later time, Kay asks him about the hole through him, and he's just like, I don't know if I want to tell you that story.
Everyone has secrets.
Yeah.
Everyone has scars.
It's interesting to see them, like, grow close, but also still be standoffish. I am very curious if, like, we will just, after I wrap the main plot, it will just be like, okay, whenever you want to, do the thing, blast off to Canto Bight, or what? Like, I'm not sure. It is kind of interesting, some of the meta-narratives. Like, we've gotten a few comments about, like, the Empire, like, always, like, chewing you up and spitting you out, or, like, turning what you make to ill.
Thanks, Papa Sheev.
Yeah, thanks, bud. I think it's interesting that I've been doing some more quests with endings to the different factions, that are unlocked on planets, and some of those get some cool outfits. I did one series for the Pikes that got me the Imperial Disguise outfit.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I think I've seen it on the main screen as well. Kay looks very good in it. Decreases detection against Imperials.
I mean, it's a disguise. That's what I hope it would do.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but, like, it buys you some time. The Crimson Rain outfit is another one I've unlocked by doing, the quest chain for them. I think I got that from doing... Was that for doing Passenger? It was for one of the Crimson Dawn related quest chains. Like, I, like, maxed out their reputation and finished a quest for them off. That one gives you, like, extra like radius and effects in your smoke bombs and stuff. It's also a pretty cool drip because it's very themed to like what Kira's wearing, you know, black with like gold trim.
Yeah, I've had that one. Like, I had that one before I got off of Toshiron. That one's the one you get from just maxing. It's not the. I don't think it's the best stealth set, but I think it's like one of the better ones to start with.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's just when you completely cap out their rep bar. So I need to do some stuff for the huts to completely fill that one out and see what they got. Because there are some, you know, there are a fun bevy of different outfits, but also there's like some of those bits and bobs are very, very scattered.
Yeah, no, there's like you have to find pieces on planets, and there's some of them that, like, I really like this drip, but I can't fucking find the other pieces.
Yeah, I would really like the set bonus for this, but I have no idea where they are. Like, I think on Akiva, I found the first piece of Ruffian gear, which is, like, better melee and stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool. That's a nice vest. Where the fuck's the rest of it? And just, I don't have the intel. I don't know. Some of it is, you know, needing to get more requests done for guys. I will also say, talking about, like, minor annoyances, at this point in the video game, I'm just like, what the fuck was the point of valuables? I have the upgrade from the Jawas to get more money bartering, and it's still fucking nothing, and I'm just like, why did you do this to me? Why not just turn it into credits right away, video game? There's no real point to this. I make my best money either rinsing people at Sabak or doing jobs. Like, why are these pickups here? I also kind of think there's a few too many upgrade materials as well, but that's a different conversation. At least there's no inventory limit, but you pick up a lot of crap, and honestly, picking up valuables at this stage in the game on, you know, the third main planet is just like, yeah, or actually fourth, because he's done it to Tushar, so yeah, the fourth main big planet is just like, nah, it's just not worth it. Like, I still sell it because all profit is good profit, but it's just like, gee, I found 2 pieces of ore on the ground. Those are worth 35 credits each with the upgrade. This does nothing.
Yeah, especially when your upgrades start, you know, costing a pretty fucking penny.
No, yeah, you know, so I'm in the rank of, like, where upgrades to, like, the ship or my gun are, like, you know, 1,500 to 2K a pop, and need, like, 4 materials and shit. Like, it's pricey. You can, you know, massage that, you know, bustin' vaults is something I've made sure to keep up doing. Like, you get a lot of pay out of that, but that still takes you a little bit of time to run down everybody's key cards, you know?
I do like that once you figure it out, it usually tells you where the fucking terminal is that will tell you where the other key cards are, at least, so it's not a lot of just fucking around. They will at least give you objectives.
No, it walks you through, but it is also, like, usually there's at least, like, 3 key cards, and it's like, okay, they're here, here, and here, and it's like, okay, alright, so we'll get there eventually, and we'll get a big payday. But, you know, you kind of pick them up.
No, like I said, like, as, you know, as you're starting Criminal Simulator, I do think Outlaws is good. I think that's why the valuable thing is so well, because, well, like, especially starting off, you are scraping for every credit you can get, so you are selling whatever random junk you can find on the ground. But I think it's also kind of indicative, like, as you, like, get up there, you get better paying jobs. You don't have to rely on it as much.
I guess that is kind of like the triangle structure, right? Of, like, the game doesn't actually know where you're going to go first, so everything on those planets has to kind of be worth the same amount of money. It's kind of a reverse scaling problem, where it does just get to a point where you're just like, nah, it's not worth it. And that is, you're correct, kind of true to, like, you know, ooh, I feel like a big shot. This, you know, stuff is not worth anything. But also, I don't feel like a big shot because I'm fucking broke because I need to buy a new double turret for my spaceship, and it costs a arguably fairly realistic, you know, couple thou cred, and I have to find, like, 6, you know, parts. And I can't even just buy the drip I want straight up. The good drip, I gotta, like, trade a guy, like, you know, 4 bare ass fibers for. But no, it's still, like, it is definitely still a very fun game, and I am having fun. I did mention before, like, some of the fucking around with the water stuff did frustrate me because I don't think, it may have been, like, a brief conversation where, like, ND5 might have said something, but, like, the game doesn't really discuss that, like, hey, Kay, you can't take your speeder over water. So I did a little, like, experimenting, and, like, it's comical how you plummet into the water. Like, you go out over deep water, you just, like, fucking no-clip straight down into the ground. There's, like, a fucking Mario 64 ripple. You are gone. So, like, yeah, it's a little loosey-goosey. It is a little funny, but it was definitely kind of, like, annoying to, like I found a new landing pad, and I found an area to go to, and then this guy was like, I wonder if I can trust you. Hey, deliver this mail for me. And I'm like, okay, deliver the first one, go to track the others, and I'm like, I literally cannot get to these, I think, because there's rocks and trees in my way, and the only other way to go around is water, and I don't have that unlocked yet, so I guess I gotta progress. And, like, it's very obvious in the video game sense that you're like, okay, well, I need to upgrade for this. But, like, Kay wouldn't know that, right? So, like, you know, we don't talk about it a lot. But it's, like I said, it's a little odd. It was a little annoying, but I have it now, and so we can noom around, do some jumps, hit some ramps. There's some big ramps in Akiva. They're like ruined roads for you to hop on. But I will, like I said, keep on playing it because I want to hopefully put a bow in Outlaws and try out probably Rise of Ronin, because I have a couple of video games I'd like to take a crack at. You know, I still want to probably get some even just get some more Darktide time in myself, but also get some Darktide in with the boys. And, you know, check out some other stuff. I've mentioned before there's been some upgrades to Supermarket Together. Sorry, I burped there. Cut me off. But my big video game purchases are probably closed for the rest of the month, and then we'll be good until it's Master Collection Volume 2. It's annoying to have to kind of like pick and choose between Metal Gear and Aliens, probably. I don't know the exact price point. I should check about Fireteam Elite 2. What's the MSRP? Nope, I'll have to enter my birth date. Okay, released August 25. No price listed, just add to wish list. See, I think the first one was like $40. That's not too bad, but we can't go crazy. There's a lot of video games coming out, and we already have to be, I think, very choosy. But I'll keep it in mind. All right. But yeah, that's my Outlaws update.
Yep.
Outlaws still Outlaws.
Yeah. Speaking of Metal Gear and things that we're probably gonna play, we did finish up Resident Evil Revelations this week. We did give our final thoughts on it, which is no, I'll say it's a great game. Like, for Resident Evil, it was very good. It was like not a perfect game, but it was still very fun. Recommend it, and I'm looking forward to getting started on Revelations 2. That's probably what we're gonna start next week.
Yep.
And then after that, oh god, do we want to go straight into Metal Gear?
That will probably be the time frame.
Like, I don't know how many sessions Rev 2 will take, but
yeah.
Like, we did also talk about how we want to get into 7, Resident Evil 7 and 8 this year. We're making pretty good on it. We've gotten through, let's see. Actually, were you there with me when we did 4 remake? I forget.
Yeah.
Was that okay? Yeah, so we did 4 remake, we did 5, we did 6, we did Rev 1, we're going to do Rev 2. Honestly, at some point we should. We didn't do 2 and 3 together, I'm pretty sure.
True. And did you do all of 2 remake?
I did half of 2 remake. I just did the Leon side. I didn't do Claire's side.
Yeah, so we might go back and do that. Definitely haven't done 3 remake. That one's, I've heard
weird.
the 3 remake. Yeah, 3 remake is weird because it's like can be very short. It's a little odd.
But no, like, after we get done with Rev 2, we'll probably hit up Master Gear Collection. God. Are we ready for cutscenes? So much cutscenes.
It's gonna be a trip. That's like I'm actually super excited for Metal Gear Solid 4 to come back, because like it's gonna be really interesting to kind of see like a lot of interesting cutscenes, but also lots of interesting weird gameplay shit. You know.
Oh yeah.
The classic Snake first person cutscene stuff is back. I've been talking before about I've been cracking jokes about fucking Screaming / Psycho Mantis stuff.
No, God, there's so many jokes in that game.
No room for Hideo on the fucking box. Like, it's gonna be interesting. Hell, it was the Boktai anniversary recently, and that led to several people posting the clip from Metal Gear Solid 4, where once you unlock the Sunlight gun, Snake just holds it up to the sky and shouts, "Sunlight!"
I remember that.
Which is, again, painfully unserious, but also really rad. And yes, a fully charged Sunlight gun will one-shot Vamp.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so unbelievably good. I love it.
Overhead view, just like old times. Yeah, overhead view. God, I fucking love Metal Gear Solid 4. I feel like it's not as widely appreciated because it was stuck on the PS3 for so long, but like, 4's a really good game. Like, it has its pacing issues, and I think you can kind of take the piss a little about some of the cutscenes being so long, like all at once, continuously long.
God, going back to Chapter 4, going back to Shadow Moses just lives in my head constantly.
Oh, it's so cool. It's like, there are a few video games that have done that trick, but it's like, the Metal Gear Solid 4 one's really good because like it has callbacks, but it also has new stuff, and just like turning the Beauty and the Beast unit battle into a Sniper Wolf callback with Crying Wolf is like, damn, that's real good. The sniper duel.
No, it's so good.
Also, I'll say it. Metal Gear Solid 5 has a pretty good gun customization thing, but you have to like go through all the mother-based research shit to do it. Metal Gear Solid 4's customization and shit with Drebin is like chef's kiss. It's insanely good. I think about the M4 SOP mod from Metal Gear Solid 4 often as just like your M4 custom was so customizable. You know, you had multiple foregrips. You could get the underbarrel grenade or the shotgun. You can attach the suppressor. You can fuck with different optics, all that fun stuff. I think you even customize the colors. So many different, pistols you can pick from. And then also, you still got the weird guns, like you could get the Tanegashima, flintlock rifle, which if you're outside has like a 30% chance to summon a cyclone and knock everybody out.
Oh, I love the weird weapon once you beat not Raging Mantis,
Screaming Mantis?
Psycho Man. Screaming Mantis,
the puppets?
You get the doll.
Yes.
Yeah, and you get the puppets.
All the boss weapons actually are really good. Like, Octopus doesn't have a boss weapon, she just gives you the face mask, so you don't have to show enemies your old-ass face. Though, you do get very fun face camos when you do that. But, I think all of the other ones are, like, very iconic to me. There's the dolls. Raging Raven gives you the MGL, the grenade launcher, which is so fun. And, of course...
I mean, you use that with stun grenades, you can just...
stun, smoke, I've talked about this before. Like, I did all the runs of, like, to get the different titles and stuff. So I've done no alerts, no kills separately. When I was doing no kills and not caring about alerts, beanbag shotguns and grenade launcher full stun grenades and just be like, I don't care if you see me, you're taking a nap, buddy. Watch this. Bong. Hit him with a t-shirt. And then, of course, when you defeat Crying Wolf, you get her railgun, which is...
it's so big.
So big, but it's strong. Sick. Fucking charge that up to level 3, one-shot geckos. Fuck you, bud.
That's what I did. No, I'm excited to get back. I'm excited to get in there.
Yeah.
I am. And also, like I said before, I'm excited to get into Peace Walker. I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it thrice. Like, that's like the only mainline Metal Gear I haven't played.
That one's is gonna be fun, because, like, we've mentioned this before. That one, we can co-op missions.
Yep.
Can fucking Fulton fly me in as random man. But also, Peace Walker's interesting because it's mission-based, so there will be a little bit of make work. Some of it we might want to do off camera or not. I'll have to get back into the systems and check. Because there's, like, the normal ending, and then you do some stuff to develop your own Metal Gear, so there's a double secret ending.
Mm-hmm.
It's not actually that double secret, but there's make work and harvesting parts to be done. But there's also some really sick interactions. I'll have to see if I can get the setup for it. But at one point, Big Boss can fucking bench press one of the AI weapons. Like, it goes to do a crush move, and you can just, I think it's mash triangle to just fucking catch it and throw it off. It's just like, boss, what are you eating? Calorie mates. They're full of calories.
Mother Brace Doritos.
That'll be interesting to see, too. I know people have talked about the branding that the iPod's staying in for. People haven't talked about the branding for Peace Walker. That actually, that has, mother base brand Doritos and energy drinks and shit. Because, like, that's another thing that's very interesting to think about. But, Hideo Kojima never shied away from product placement.
Looking at you, monster in a canteen.
If you have a product he likes or is at least okay with appearing, he will take money and put your logo. No, Metal Gear's, like, it's gonna be really sick. Yeah, that's why I'm like, that is my... Even though I really like Aliens Fireteam 1, I'm like, no, for sure, my definitely for 100% budget game for August is gonna be Master Collection, because it's like, no, I need that shit. I'm gonna play MGS4 9 million times again. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to find out how good my muscle memory is. I wonder if I can get some speedrun achievements early. Probably not, because I don't remember if the cutscene time counts. I don't remember if it counts against playtime. They're all really skippable. It's just, again, because they're so long, it's very funny. You will get catapulted around doing that. But yeah, no, we're hyped for video games, including Resident Evil. So like I said, I'm also eager to get to 7 and 8. Like I said, I've watched people play through 7 a lot. I have never actually seen 8 front to back. So like that will, so far I'm completely blind, other than the playable demo they did. But that's us yapping about video games for a little bit. Do we want to wrap up with some Deathwatch talk, maybe?
Yeah, let's wrap up with Deathwatch.
Deathwatch campaign check-in.
Yep.
Faith, Fire, and Ice, or possibly Fire, Faith, and Ice. I don't actually remember which order it's in. Out now. Part 2.
Yep, this is episode 2 of the mission. At this point, we have reached the valley of, Fallen Tears? Yes.
Frozen Tears.
Frozen Tears.
Frozen
Tears. And we have made progress on our objectives. Let's see here. I don't know. Let's see here.
You took some time to survey the town and kind of plan your defenses for a little bit. That's not really... We don't really need to get into it now, because that was mostly just kind of like talking, theory crafting, looking at maps. I made sure to sketch up an extra map before session, because I knew you were going to ask.
No, we probably don't need like a full model scale, but I am going to need like some distances between places, because, like I said, you have highlighted some hazards. We're just like, yes, we cannot be everywhere at once. Or if we are, it's going to be like one dude. It's not great. But we did complete one of our objectives. Got up to the Alpine School, did some stuff, came back. We went to another place. We're about to do more stuff. Like I said, I don't want to get full details, as, I want you to go and listen to the damn AP. Go listen to it. Especially if you want to hear Lucky crash out a little bit. It wasn't a full-on crash out, but I did actually have to raise my voice.
No, it wasn't full, but yeah, it was a little point. It was, yeah, like, honestly, we as usual, we like to do a little post-mortem, and honestly, the session was pretty alright. Like, I went on my way to ask Aaron how he felt about Brand's performance, and he was happy. Brand got to do a lot more Brand things that time. He wasn't even the guy who got injured. I got to shoot up Dallas this time. I'll have to make sure that there are some opportunities for Dallas to do his assault stuff. This time it was like clearly like, it's a little too far, a little too risky, Mm-hmm. He did actually kind of like ratchet in his tactics a little.
He seemed okay with it, but still.
Yeah, no. Dallas is usually, that's the thing, right? Dallas is usually okay with making like tough choices and not always doing what he wants to do when he can clearly see what the downsides are. He will still volunteer some weird stuff. He will throw out anything out there. He's not usually like upset when we go, no, Dallas, I don't think we should cause an avalanche. But he'll throw the idea out there, right?
By the way, yes, Dallas did throw out the idea of causing an avalanche.
It would be pretty sick, but also would be kind of risky. That's, completely uncontrolled. But yeah, otherwise, like, the session went pretty good. I think there was a decent flow. You guys did, downtime stuff. There was a little bit of role-playing back and forth, a little bit of investigating. And then there was the combat where I think that was a much more fair combat, more back and forth. Like, I was able to put pressure on you guys without, knocking anybody completely the fuck out, but still put a little bit of the fear of God fear of the Emperor into some guys. Mm-hmm. But there were a couple of points where there were some lapses, and this was what you crashed out about. We had a couple of times where not just one person, but a couple of different people were a little unfocused, and this session, it clearly got to you.
Yeah. Well, I guess, like, I don't want to be, like, pointing a finger, but it's definitely one of those things that it's, like, this isn't, like, the first time it's happened.
No.
Like, several people at several points will be away from the computer or taking a lot of breaks or will be doing something completely different. And we will call for them and have to call for them several times, or we have to wait on them because even though we talked about, we'll take breaks when, we need to take breaks, they take a break on their own and, we don't have the opportunity to stop them because they're just like, I'm gone, bye. So, like, yes, I am getting frustrated with people's inability to either, hold it in for a little bit, say, hey, can we take a break real quick and pause the recording, or to, maintain their focus on task. Like, I do feel like I might be, like I said, like, I can't, like, fully say, like, no, you have to be, locked in 100% of the time, because that'd be dumb. You'll wear yourself out, but...
And we even talked before, because I mentioned this in the episode after that comment, like, I have in other sessions gotten more heated at the guys. Like, I was not as heated as you were this session, but I've gotten more heated at the guys for, like, not being on task, not being on focus, and being like, hey guys, hello, hi, are we all here? And mentioned that, like, I would like everybody's full attention on the game, but also we have talked about kind of, like, strategies also to, like, relax during game and not make it feel like a chore. So, like, I think some amount of not just taking breaks, but also, like, some amount of distraction of, like, and you've talked before about, kind of like ADHD brain about, like, sometimes you need the multitask, otherwise you're not actually focusing on anything.
Yeah.
Like, so there's a certain amount of, brain space to be expected, but last time was a little rough, and it was, like you said, multiple times over multiple people. And, like, ultimately, I think some of it just boils down to, like, lack of communication on different fronts. Like,
Yeah.
At one point, Axe completely blanked, and I think he said later that, like, yeah, he literally just blanked out. He was just, like, not processing for a second, and it's like, well, that's okay. I can't really control that, but it would be nice for you to, like, say in the moment, just be like, sorry, I spaced out, run that back to me kind of a thing, right? Like,
yeah.
If you say what's up and let me know, I can, like, adjust accordingly. Dallas also, like, had a couple of points where he was, like, suddenly away or not focused, and then he said later, like, sorry, I've got a lot of, like, extra company at my house and I'm distracted. I'm like, well, that's okay, you can't control that, but it would have been nice to know that, like, at the start, at, like signaling, hey, there may be some points where I'm, like, out of focus. And it's like, okay, but let me know if you gotta step away, mute. Loth has been pretty good, while he does still just decide to step away when he's not the center of attention, which sometimes, when we're in initiative order, there's a very strict order of the way turns work. And sometimes it will be your turn.
Yes, no. Since we called him out, there was a point where he takes several bio breaks. I don't know if he's eating weird food or not, but at one point he took one and his turn was up. Thankfully, it was the same initiative as Aaron. So we just had Aaron go, but it's, like I said, we could, we're supposed to be, like, taking breaks together so we can all be on task, and Loth there took, like, 3 or 4 bio breaks, and I'm just like, okay.
I like, listen, if your tummy's upset, okay, I get it, but, that's again part of the signaling. But at least, like, Loth usually says, be right back, bio,
BRB,
and, like, mutes. Like, he signals, like, okay, I know for sure he's out of there. That's the thing I need to get Dallas and Axe to work on, is, like, because I don't know if he actually did it this time, but Axe has unfortunately in the past done the thing where he, like, has a wireless headset, so he's like, I'll just cheekily step away from my mic to, like, check on my food or take a bio break or whatever, and not tell anybody. And then it's like, hey, guess what, Axe, it's your turn, you're not muted, and you're not on the mic, and he has to, like, race back. It's like, we could solve all that just by saying, be right back, and muting, like, letting me know with a tangible signal that you're not there, so that we can plan around it,
Like I said, I don't want to, like, get like, too much, because, like, one thing, I will step away without saying anything. The thing is, I usually do it, like, after my turn is just over. So, like, I know that I'm not going to be coming up anytime soon. It's like, it's one of those things of all, like...
mention that at the start of next episode, too. Just be like, hey, if you feel a sudden urge to take a break, try and wait until your turn is done.
Yeah, because we'll have to go through a whole other turn, and who knows what bullshit. Combat never goes quickly.
No, we've tried, and I think the last one was fairly streamlined when people were actually going and taking turns. But even then, there were still a couple of points where I was just like, hold on, we gotta double check a rule. We've done something we've never done before, which is, Axe's character Kier actually has his storm shield now, so he has his force field shield. So I was like, okay, how do force fields interact with, multi-shot attacks? And it's, guess what? It's not very clear. But I think it's, it's one roll to block the whole thing, because it says when you are targeted by an attack, which would be the semi or full auto burst, you roll protection. But we did have to get in the weeds for, like, 5 minutes about that, and that was some downtime and some dead air. And I said before I did the thing. No, I did not apologize for the thing I did before I did it. After it happened, I did say later, like, hey, sorry if that took a little bit, but we had to get in the weeds. But now we know. Like, there are a couple times that happens, but yeah, combat is never so fast because it has, various elements going on. And, like, we can stall, like, we don't need to stall, but we could stall a little bit. Like, if you still aren't back by the time it's your turn, or, like, if I'm shooting you with a gun and you get to dodge that attack, it would be like, okay, I can buy you a little time to solve that and come back later. But if you time it right, you never know. You'll get some incidents of somebody firing a gajillion grenades or full auto bursts or whatever. There'll be math involved.
No, like, during, like, the combat at the Alpine School, there's a lot of that combat. I was just laying down in bed, not even at my computer. It's just every time my turn was about to come up, I'd get up and, return to my desk. It's like...
The initiative order is pretty fixed.
Yeah, so... No, it's just like one of those things. Like I said, I did get fairly steamed about even threatening if, like, we can't fucking focus on this game, then maybe we shouldn't, play the game and we'll find something else to do with the Sunday. And I do mean that.
it's one of those things where it's like, on the one hand, I don't want to be like, Lucky holding gaming group hostage, but like, I do think that kind of shocked the guys into more awareness when you were just like you let your frustrations like out and made it pretty clear how you felt. I know Aaron was also frustrated a couple of points because like he mentioned that he might have even and you said, you crashed out a little bit. He said after the session that like he might not have phrased it as politely as you did if he snapped.
No. And like I said, I wouldn't say it's holding the group hostage. You can completely play without me. You're just gonna have to play without me, which will be its own kettle of fish.
Yeah, and I'm honestly, I don't like to do that with a group that's got a guy. I've talked before that before. We've had scheduling conflict and other shit come up. I'm just like, ah. But like you said, you brought it up, and I think that did kind of bring everybody to attention to be like, okay, all right. And I will probably, I don't know if I'll remember every session down the line, but definitely this week I'm probably going to start with being like, okay, everybody feel good? Everybody ready to start? Anybody got anything going on that's might suddenly crop up in the middle of the session? All right, cool. Try and if we're taking break time, try and either ask for a group break or stall us out. If you are in combat, wait till your turn. If something suddenly happens, you get a phone call, somebody knocks on your door, say something, BRB, and like mute so we know, so I don't call on you kind of a thing. Because, that is kind of the one of the risks of like virtual tabletop stuff is like, we're not sitting around a table, we don't see each other, so I can't like know if like Loth gets a phone call and goes, oh fuck, other than Loth, we'll hear a phone call and he goes, oh shit, click off. I know when Lucky gets a phone call.
Yeah.
It's loud.
It is loud. My mech picks up everything I don't want it to.
True, real. Dallas also had that problem for a long time. I think he's gotten better about it. Like, knock on wood, it's been a long ass time since I've heard, loads and loads of Dallas clinking.
True.
Like, we can and that's why it's important to bring these things up. Ideally before anybody feels like a crash out, but like sometimes you don't think about it until you're just like, all right, okay. Don't even get me started. But, communication is important, whether it's like, cause like you said, right, like, trying to get everybody to be locked in, full attention all the time won't work.
No.
I've even mentioned this, I'm not locked in all the time. For our various games, when you guys are actually role-playing amongst yourselves and you don't need to turn to me for attention, I will, relax. I might even, like, lift my headphones off briefly to, let my sweaty-ass ears breathe, because it's hot. That kind of thing. Like, I'll take a second to kind of, like, reset myself. Does that sometimes mean I have to be like, oh, sorry, you guys you switched back to asking me a question? But like I said, it's I can take a second to relax and then we can move on. Because you don't need the game master to micromanage every moment, okay? It's when there's rules involved that you need me involved. But, I would like the central focus. I don't try and multitask, when we game. God knows I've talked about this. I don't think I could. Because I already have enough problems juggling all the books and shit. Trying to remember all the stuff I wrote. Asking past Omega what the fuck he meant by something. You've been pretty good about our thinking of distances and stuff, but sometimes there's definitely moments where I'm just like, yes, hold on, let me check my notes. No, I did not. Even as I'm speaking this out loud, I'm thinking of something that I didn't think of earlier. Shit. But Deathwatch is still pretty fun to get some guys, get some goobs. So hopefully we'll keep on keeping on. We are goobing.
Yeah, we're goobing. I think we're pretty hopeful to complete this mission next session, which I think we'll be doing. I don't know if we have a combat at the Reliquary. I know we're gonna have a combat back on the town during the evac, but
yeah, you'll have a waves and horde situation. I think it'll depend on how you guys want to do. There'll probably be a little bit of scrapping at the Basilica because I think you guys have located that jammer. Hey, spoilers. That's
that's right. There's a jammer. That's right.
I don't think it'll be a big group of, I say I don't think, I know. It will not be a large group of men's there, but, that would be a thing. They would not leave that unguarded.
Yeah.
But you'll also get some rewards.
I do like rewards. Give me stuff. I like stuff.
And then we can figure out, our kind of, siege mode stuff.
I am excited for that. I think I've mentioned this. Lucky is very defensively minded when it comes to tactics. I'm not actually good at planning assaults and offensives, but you give me a place and you say, defend this, I'll be like, yes, I am ready.
Yeah, I know. We had this whole discussion about, like, what we're going to do with, like, the positions. I did actually, like I said, I made a visual guide to mark out the ranges of, like, okay, you got this to here and this to there. Over here, there's trees. but there's a long gap from the trees. So, like, they'll be pretty safe in the trees, but then there's a big field. Over here, much shorter distance. Lots of rock, good cover. Can't drive vehicles in there.
We probably will have to go over this through again, before a game again, but probably more abbreviated version.
Yeah, that will be more of like, to remind everybody, here's this point, and this point, arranged this way. Already talking about your bridges. That was another thing that like came up a couple of times. Axe was doing his usual thing of kind of like mulling over a point over and over again, and I feel like I thought I said it pretty clearly the first time, but I probably needed to at some point get back and be like, and say it more clearly, like, because he was like, oh, I'm wondering if I even can. It's like, what I, hindsight's 20/20. What I was thinking is like, no, what I probably should have said like straight up at some point was like, mechanically, it would be very simple for you to make enough explosives to blow up the bridge, but it would be time-consuming and involve extra rolls that we don't need to do because you already know you can do it as a group. And if you want to shortcut this next time, bring demo packs.
What was the question I asked? Did we bring explosives?
And Dallas was like yes, and then I had to fucking double audit him about how many fucking grenades he brought. I'm like, I have 29. I'm like, you do not have 29 frag grenades.
This is one of those things that I feel like you need to audit Dallas on his fucking gear, because I feel like he writes shits down and doesn't delete it.
Yeah, I don't know about the math, because like when he said that, I'm like, there's no way that was the amount you told me, because you get, you
get 3 frags and 3 cracks.
Yeah, you get 3 for free, and then he was like, oh, well, I paid. I'm like, there's no way you paid, because I think it's like 1 rec per. There's no way you paid that much. I thought you got like 6 extra, and he's like, okay, I have 9. I'm like, I don't know how he got to 29.
He's not going to use them. I don't know why he keeps doing it. He always buys more grenades that he doesn't do anything with.
I mean, he used a couple of his spicy grenades this time. He like fired one of his plasmas, I think. Did he also use a frag? I think he also used a frag. So we'll see. I don't think he'll get through all of them. I'm going to assume that is, talking about people doing stuff. That does sound like the Dallas mindset is to always have extra leftover grenades at the end.
Emotional support grenade, thank you.
Yeah, the emotional support grenade. Yes. Like, because that would be the ideal situation, is to finish the mission and not have run out of grenades. But it is way more dramatic if you accidentally use your last grenade, or not accidentally, on purpose use your last grenade and go, out of grenades.
Yeah, no, like, that's kind of like, well, that's one of the reasons why I like the requisition system in Deathwatch, because they give you a starting kit. Like, those 3 grenades we just get those every time, all the time. All those extra grenades are extra, but things are expensive. Like I said, we're getting like 150 rec now, and while we can get a lot of big fun toys, that's all like, we still can't get every big fun toy. Hell, I'm half cheating by bringing, the free Reaper autocannon that we yoinked off the Terminator last time, and I'm still like capped. I had to like borrow a few so I can get the cartograph for the area. That's all. Like, I definitely did not have enough
bits and bobs. The Signum and the Signum Link are pretty cool, but are also that was a thing that everybody had to buy into.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if I'm gonna actually go for that next time. I feel like everyone forgets about it in the moment, and when we do remember it, it doesn't count.
Yeah, it's like, we remember it when you're like, oh yeah, do we get the gang up bonus? And it's like, well, it's a horde of like 20 guys, so no?
Yeah.
The book's kind of loosey-goosey on that. I mean, the plus 5 BS is nice, but you can get that with just buy your own Signum.
Yeah. So, I think like next time, well, I probably won't be picking it up, so... Because I was not actually able to take the Lament this time for it. And I was like thinking about it. So we will see. Like I said, it was fun to pull out, but I do think I like my Targeter better than that. And boy, howdy, do I like this Reaper Articanon.
No, the Reaper was, you didn't use it at all this session, but the first run of this mission, it was like very efficient.
Oh yeah. But like I said, I think this is like one of the fun thing about requisition. You only get like so many points to pick out your loadout, and you got to pick and choose and stuff. But I think also, the fact that, you can run out of stuff is, important as well. This is why, like, I'm keeping track of all my, everyone's supposed to keep track of their ammo, and I don't think people do.
Not always. I mean, we did get a little bit of that, because there was a moment, which I will admit to everyone, went exactly as I planned, which is, when the combat started, Axe goes, oh shit, I really should have reloaded my plasma rifle, and I'm like, yep. But I did not remind you because I didn't want to remind you. So he only had 1 burst in there. He used it, and then he was like, okay, after the combat ends, I now take my 4 full actions and reload this plasma rifle.
I haven't reloaded anything, but that's because I don't...
You have a big backpack.
I have a big backpack.
Stalker, which you don't need to get into. But yeah, it was like one of those things which is like, no, sometimes we keep track of ammo and sometimes we don't. I think the boys are a little better about keeping track of it when they're using their special ammunition. Like, I'm pretty sure that Dallas did actually mark when he was using them how many Kraken rounds he used. I'm pretty sure Loth would have used some Hellfires this time, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Fight at the Horde. Yeah, so he probably has an accurate count of how many Hellfire rounds he used. It was only like 1 3-round burst, I think, but, you know. We did also have our usual interspersing of, like, the gruesome with the comedic, where Dallas just decided that the sniper he wanted to shoot at was named Dave, and I'm like, okay, so he's got a D name, so I'm just like, all right, so he's D, that means we need some more. C is Charlie, which I sometimes call Charles.
What was that? Yeah, was it A, Alan?
Yeah, I think it was A, Alan.
Alan, Barry, Charles, and Dave?
Yeah. And then it turned into a whole thing. Especially when I think Dave technically lived the longest. Because, like, Dallas whiffed on him the first time, and then there was some focus fire crackback, and then we had to spread some damage around.
I think that's... I feel like that's something I don't know if I should, like, get on Dallas about. Dallas is very excitable in combat. And I don't know, like, how much of that is in character or out of character.
Yeah, actually, we should ask him next session, because I don't remember what Balthazar's personal disposition is at the top of my head. He might supposed to be a little more reserved. Like, as a Black Dragon, he probably should be pretty focused on the purging of the Emperor's enemies. They are kind of like that, you know? Yeah. But he is, as you said, very excitable. Dallas is very easy to get into a mood of like, oh, you say fuck me? I'll fuck you.
Well, fuck you, Dave! I'm pretty sure he said that several times.
Yes. As Dave is taking pot shots with these cult snipers. Dave, I don't think he was like Dave ate his first dodge, so Dave didn't even hit him that much. He just shot at him.
But no, it's one of those things that we talk about, you know, role playing Space Marines and whatnot. And I don't know if like Dallas remembers that in the moment. So it's like it's one of those things. I'm like, I don't know if I need to actually, you know, like take Dallas to task over it because he's clearly having fun with it. But at the same time, it's like, you know, what is it? What like, are we in character? Are we out of character?
I mean, if obviously, like you said, if he's having fun, we don't want to take him out of it too much because we are here to have fun. But definitely it is like, if you are feeling like a little confused about if he's being in or out of character, do feel free to bring it up because like that means as another player, you are unsure and you're like, don't know how to react. And like, that's also part of it. Out of character, we can also, you know, joke around, but in character, you know, some of the others might have some responses. And I do think that out of the group, probably only you or Aaron is the most likely to call him out on whether or not he's in character or not. Axe and Dallas are not afraid to kind of like snip at each other about stuff, but mostly it's about, you know, when they say something stupid, they'll get the other one. And that you did call Dallas to task for something because he like, Axe took a little long on a turn sometime and Dallas tried to do a crackback and you were just like, buddy, you almost got your turn skipped. Shut the fuck up. Sometimes as the game master, I can't actually get into the weeds with the players because I'm like, I gotta ref this other shit. I'm controlling like 4 lanes of traffic. Sometimes I do get it with the guys, but like I said, often I have to ref. Just imagine me standing in the middle of the street, gesturing at one pack of Gene Stealers over here to come this way, just for the Space Marines to come over this way. You step on a mine, you explode.
No, it's like, it is definitely like a cat herding thing. Because this is like I tell people, it's all like, I try to tell people, I want to enjoy it too. And if you're doing stuff that makes me, you know, not enjoy this, why am I here? So I'd rather, call it out, see if we can find some compromise and move on. And if we can't find a compromise, then, well, that's that. And I guess we gotta, deal with that.
Something else.
Yeah. So no, like, this is why I think I terrify Axe every once in a while because I will just straight out, you do something stupid, I'm calling you out. It's like, I'm not going to let this fester. I'm not going to let myself get stressed out over this. Because if I'm not having, like, because I want to have fun. And it's like, and I don't think I've ever told anyone, no, you can't call me out. Like, call me out. I have never been afraid of being called out. Like, Aaron's called me out a couple times. And it's every time I'm just like, yes, no, I see your point. And usually we, like, apologize to each other and we try to do better about it next time. But, it's like, I don't consider myself perfect. I don't consider myself great. I have my foibles just as anyone else, and much like any.
I don't know if I've ever framed it as calling you out, but definitely there have been times where, as like game master and player, I've had to be like, I've had to stop and go like, okay, what are we trying to do here? I'm lost. I'm not picking it up. Got to explain this to me. Yeah. Walk me through this.
Yeah. No. So it's like, being open and honest while it is painful at times is generally, I think, a lot more healthier than trying to bottle everything up and, release the stress elsewhere. It's man, and so yeah, no, I can get like very upset at game. Like again, this is the thing I talk about. The thing that I think I don't like the most about is when I do this, I don't want it on recordings. Like,
no,
that's
it
the
feels
thing,
a little
like,
embarrassing, but
it's a very
it happened
embarrassing.
in the session. It's what the happen did happen.
No, like when it happened, it's been so long I don't remember, but I remember it happened in rain. I had another
There were a
crash
couple
out.
moments. There was the 66 the first time. That was the one that straight up you were just like, I don't want to air this one, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
It
no,
got
it
in the
was
weeds,
that,
so like that's all right. That was
it was
a weird
pretty
one.
bad. Yeah.
So we did like we talked it out, hashed it out, and reset it. We reset Okaibud. And like it's funny, like I don't think I, as the game master, it's like I kind of gotta not crash out. I gotta hold my shit together because I'm driving the whole bus. But like I have had my other moments with some members of the gang, because like if you watch some of the old Prague episodes, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression Tournament stuff we did, like I get a little heated about playing a children's card game, because there are some times when I get sauced, and it's just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why are you hitting me with a bullshit OTK strategy, or just like what have you done this to me? Honestly, Robin I think came in late enough that I got over it, but there were a couple of times where just like the bants were just sour, and it was just like, nah, there was some yelling. I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing here? What is going on? I think I talked about it later on an episode of this podcast, Let's Take FGO. There's a part that sticks in my mind recently where I did mention that like I also called out Axe because he cut me off for like the third or fourth time in a night, like right in the middle of my sentence, and I had to be like, Axe, shut up, stop cutting me off, going crazy. And like, was I probably a little more like rude and yelly than I needed to be? Yeah, but I was frustrated. I did have to be like, okay, I need you to cut that shit out, drive me up the wall. And he did. Like for the rest of that night, it adjusted. And other times I've tried to be a little more. Recently, I've tried to be a little more careful about like, you know, positioning everybody to talk. I know that Loth has had his moments of kind of like Loth does crash out a little bit. He also crashed out a little bit playing Yu-Gi-Oh. We've told many stories about camera Loth versus off-camera Loth. Him just getting bodied by RNG after he's been fucking taking our lunch money off camera all week, and he's just like, God damn it. But usually Loth is a sulky crasher outer. He will just be like, all right, okay, I'm done.
No, like, speaking from, like, our tabletop experience, both Dallas and Axe have lacked the ability to shut the fuck up. Dallas it'll be the middle of someone's turn, you're trying to do math, you're like, all right, Omega, I'm gonna be like, and then Dallas will go, hey, Omega, I have an idea. And I'm just all like, you can't see it, but I'm trying
hand gesture right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna, like, strangle him.
Yeah, and definitely I think I've gotten better about sometimes telling Dallas, like, hold on one second. If I'm literally in the middle of math.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a risk to be ready on turn. He's getting ready on other people's turns.
And then Axe's usual big foible is you will be in the middle of explaining something, and then Axe will cut you off to add some additional factor into it that probably wasn't needed, but he knew it, and he's autistic, so he has to get the fucking fact out. And I'm just all like, please, we did not need to know this. It was not important. Please wait until Omega's actually done explaining everything before you start chiming in. Or type it in text. I don't know how many times I've told him, type it in text. He does not type it in text.
I mean, sometimes he types it in text, but yeah, most of them are just kind of like random outbursts. This is the thing with like Axis, especially. I have to like be careful about auditing. Is I hope I'm not getting on his case too hard, but sometimes I gotta get on his case a little bit about like, that's a cool fact that you Axe know. Does your character know that? No? Okay, inside thought then.
You cannot have inside thoughts, unfortunately.
Not all the time. You know, the whole, like, quibbling about in-character versus out-of-character knowledge is, like, a thing I'm gonna... Like, I've already... I think between this recent discussion and just playing Outlaws again, I think I've, like, locked in my mind that, like, oh yeah, when we do that Edge of the Empire thing, I am going to be a face, just so that nobody else in the crew has to talk like that.
No, it's like...
I don't mind yapping. And I know some of the other guys don't mind yapping, but, like, I don't...
Yeah, no,
I know you. I don't trust Dallas as the face with you as the game master, because Dallas is going to say some shit, and you're just going to be like, no, Dallas, you cannot take that back. You said that out loud.
No, unfortunately, yes, that is my GM style. You say, talk shit, get hit. Like, that is immediately going to happen.
I think Dallas could roll with the punches, but I think the rest of the group would not appreciate it.
Like I said, like, I haven't been, like, speaking of such thing, I haven't made a lot of progress on the game right now. Like I said, we're juggling a lot of games. right now, and I definitely want to wait till until we're back probably onto rain before I start thinking about it.
Aaron's even asked the group about wanting to play a short Lancer run, a 3-shot star.
I don't know.
Yeah, actually, I noticed you didn't respond. I was thinking to myself, 3-star sessions probably sounds a little short for Lucky. I know you slightly longer. You like room to breathe.
No, I do. Because I am interested in Lancer, because I've heard a lot of people say good things about it, but it's I don't know if I just want to do a quick 3-shot. It's
especially because I don't know. We'll discuss it with Aaron later, but I don't know what his curve for progress is going to be. I don't know if we're yeah, I know. Medicine Island went a while. That was, and then we did have a sequel, but if it's planned to be 3 beats, that may still not be enough time to do some stuff, and there will still be some leveling concerns. What stuff we'll get access to. I probably wouldn't use my big boy character concept for that kind of Lancer one shot. I might try something simpler.
Yeah, I'm considering it just for the fact so I can maybe get into Lancer and see what's fun. Yeah, as Aaron was saying, get a feel for it, cause and stuff. But it's one of those things of all we do a lot of stuff throughout the week. And I said, I've been thinking Rain Thoughts. I've talked about this on Come Deliverance. Very good for that. And, I am, starting to, get the juice back for that. I'm thinking up, if Enos was to write up, a Last Will and Testament, what would he say? Who would he send it to? I could die at any moment, so I've been having, those thoughts and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I'm trying to wrap up the final mission for Deathwatch to get back into Rain. Unfortunately, my Thursday is my usual day off writing day. That day, my fucking sinuses were beating my ass, so I did not get as much stuff done as I wanted. But maybe tomorrow or Sunday, I can keep chipping away at that, and then hopefully shift to Rain. We've had a lot of FGO stuff coming up as well, in addition to our other side projects. So making sure to clock in a couple hours and keep up, and then having to do some writing and stuff. Got another wanted script to bang out, but yeah. But yeah, we're trucking away at stuff. It is one of those things though, where like I said, most everybody jumped in when Aaron brought it up, and I noticed you didn't respond. I'm like, no, Lucky's probably thinking that 3 might be a little short for his taste.
No, like I said, and also again, I don't want to necessarily delay our return to Rain right now. That's the other thing. I didn't think Aaron really put in a time frame of when he wanted to do it, so I was just I'm a little wiggly on it.
You wouldn't want to jump in and be the final guy, and then everybody commits to trying to think about Lancer.
Yeah, so honestly, I probably still will pass. Honestly, I could probably use my Sunday to do something else. Like I said, I need to. I've been talking about this. I need to actually get my life together. Think about what I want to do. Whether I actually want to become a serious content creator or get back into the workforce. I have to sit down and decide. I can't be doing this, half living, half dying thing that I've been doing for the past 2 years. So, if we take some time, if you guys want to take some time and do and also I think it's important. This is one of those things I keep talking about. It's I worry about Axe a lot. I'm super harsh on him and I pull no punches with him, but I do worry about him a lot. He's not in the channel, so he won't hear me say this. Ha 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 ha. But it's it's one of those things of I want him to have a gaming session where he doesn't feel the looming specter of my ire hovering over him, because that is a thing that he has mentioned several times before. Sometimes I genuinely scare him, and I'm I understand you, I hear you, but I'm not necessarily going to stop being the way I am just for your convenience. I mean, if he hears it in recording, that's different. That means he can't. If he was here, he could immediately respond, and then we get into a fucking Axe tangent. TM. But like I said, so having an opportunity to game with everyone else and not have my influence, on the game and on him, I think could be good for him. Because I've talked about this. I've listened to him game when I'm not there, and he seems surprisingly, capable and competent. It's just usually when I'm involved, it seems that it kind of freaks him out and sets him off. So if there's an opportunity for him to game with the rest of you guys and not be freaked out at me, I like him to have that chance. Because I want everyone to have fun. And Axe is included in that everyone.
As much as sometimes people may feel like they're not included. No, the goal is for everybody to have fun.
And Axe talks about, getting stress headaches and all that stuff. And I'm with
I don't
Rain,
want him think that's not entirely on you. I think also just
yeah, that's that's social.
That poor boy definitely bit off more than he was thinking of when he decided to just jump in and be no, I'll be the heir. I can be the heir. It's fine. Spoilers, Chad.
It was not fine, but Well, hey, I won't.
We'll
I can't fault him for trying though.
No,
step out of your comfort zone.
It seemed like a good idea at the time, but now we put in over 60 sessions, and it's just like, yeah, it stresses him out a little bit.
Yeah. So no, I think I'll commit to that. If you guys do the Lancer game, I'm gonna sit out just so you guys can have some some luckless time, which might do some people good if I'm not breathing down their necks.
Yeah, we can see. We'll figure out the timing as well.
Yeah,
because like I said, I do also understand not wanting to get everybody locked in on not going back to Rain right away, because like it has been a while.
Yes, running a country turns you evil. Eventually, well, that's why. Well, honestly, unfortunately, Omega's too nice of a GM for us to have like obviously evil fucking dudes. Watch out when.
I don't know if it's necessarily niceness. It's also just really easy to spot obviously evil guys.
True enough. Don't you worry, when we do my Edge of the Empire game, trust nobody. Everyone has an agenda.
I will say there are some,
you gotta figure out whether what you gotta figure out is if their agenda aligns with your agenda.
Oh, real true. But yeah, no. I would also say as kind of like the what's the word? The pinpoint, to put a pin on this conversation, thinking about Raid. There were also some times where the gang has been very trusting and forthcoming with people that I was kind of shocked.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, we're just going, all right, sure. I'll put this one in my pocket for later. No, nobody knows when my pockets will come undone. But we have crossed 4 hours. I think that's a good wind-in point. Don't know why I'm saying winding in so much lately, but it feels like the right phrase. Pull it back in, reel it in like a fish.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, this has been Let's Talk FGO. We will hopefully be back next week. We can hit you with another phase of the Ordeal Call pregame and maybe get you started on some impressions of the story. Like I said, we will have to see with the scheduling and stuff. You can already watch our Deathwatch session yourself now. We'll be recording another one of those Sunday. Monday, we will be aiming to get to Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Yeah!
Check that out. And we're going to go through the rest of our normal screen schedule, we hope, but we'll see. Like I said, I got to get up pretty early on Wednesday, so I don't know about that. I might, because the patches usually drop a Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Might actually do 14 Tuesday then, skip FP.
Okay.
Just to get in and, do Hildebrand, check out whatever's going on with Cult Crescent, I think should be up. Find out what new, fresh Torment Geralt has for me.
Yeah.
But we'll game it out and we'll see it. I feel like that is probably the better option to do a swapsy, but we'll see. It may be, like I said, you get to call in the day before. It may be that I will not be called to actually be impaneled at all on Wednesday, and then that'll be no problem. But we'll play it by ear, but hopefully we'll keep up you all on that. And like I said, should have a new wanted for Bubba Dubai coming up as well. Actually, I should mention now, since I did mention that, because this will probably be your last chance to go out. I mentioned in the wanted for Seal for people to make some noise if they wanted any kind of coverage on the summer SRs. I saw one, maybe two comments about that, which wasn't really overwhelming to do the extra level. SR summer videos have historically not done super well. So if you are interested, do let me know about that and I can consider it, but otherwise we'll just be doing the normal wanteds, because we've got two, basically, the brand new units as summer SSRs this year. It's weird. So, stay tuned, check all that out. And then, with that, I guess it's time for the usual outro rigmarole. Fire up a like on this video on YouTube, drop a comment down below. You can join our Discord, we got a Discord, link in the description. If you're new, make sure to sub, consider joining channel memberships, and consider supporting us on Patreon, get access to the audio of episodes, both the podcast and the APs and other stuff, for as little as $1 a month or approximately $10 a year with a discount. And at higher levels, you can get access to videos like Wanted early. You can vote in polls for Fail Portrayal and Fanservant Friday. And at our higher levels, you can listen to us record Let's Talk FGO live every week. And at our very highest tier, you can get on-air shout-out at the end. Like Adam DeHart, Blacklist OG, Call Me Zed, Carlos Dragon, JDV9000, Rise of Kenji, Rogerman, and Charvor. Thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.